Welcome to From Rock Bottom, the podcast where we explore real stories of struggle, survival, and strength. Each weekly episode features honest conversations with people who faced mental health battles, addiction, trauma, and life's darkest moments, and found a way to rise again. A quick content warning: some of the topics we discuss may be distressing or triggering. We talk openly about mental health, addiction, and other sensitive issues. Please listen with care, and if you need to, take a break or reach out for support. You're not alone, and this space is here to remind you of that.
Boom, and we are on. Today I'm joined by Marvin Hitchman, and he's going to say to us his heart-wrenching story of being born in prison, adoption, sexual abuse, drug addiction, violence, prison, and somehow he's still alive to tell us the story.
I am indeed.
Lee, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Andy. Thank you for having me on, mate. It's amazing to be here. Thank you very much.
It is
mate.
my pleasure. Thank you very much. So usually with my guests, what I do is I start from their childhoods.
Yeah.
But yours I want to make it a bit different. Because you're born in prison,
Yeah.
I want to get the understanding of how mum and dad's ended up in prison
Yeah.
for you to be there yourself.
Okay, well that's very interesting then, yeah. So I reckon we should go to now, what's happened now with the parents now.
Okay.
So my dad is dead, my birth dad is dead, and my birth mum is dead, both of them are dead. My dad died very recently, and he died through being stabbed to death in London. He got abused himself as a kid, it turns out, in a children's home, and there was a big inquest into this massive abuse scandal in this children's home. He got £180,000 compensation and used it all on drugs, and sadly, the same people who he was associating with when he had the money, they're charged with murder now, and there's a trial running soon and whatnot. So there's a case ongoing with my dad. So, you know, tragically he got stabbed to death, so he's dead now. And my birth mum, sadly, she lost her life at 49. Apparently she went to my birth cousin. It's mad. I was on a beach in India with my birth family. This is fast forward, like I'm in my 40s, bro, yeah? I'm on a beautiful beach in India, fascinating paradise. And my birth cousin, my first cousin, sat next to me and he went, "Marv, I remember the last time I seen your mum, my auntie." I went, "Why, what happened?" He went, "I come home from school one day and the ambulances was there and he wanted to take her to hospital because she had something up with her leg through drug addiction related to her drug use, and she refused, and she filled a mouthful of white tablets and they took her away, and that was the last time he ever seen my mum." And he told me that on the beach in India, Andy, right? And paradise turned to a nightmare. The people who was laughing and giggling, they turned into screams. That makes any sense.
Yeah.
It just turned into a horrifying existence. You know, I just wanted to get out of there. I wanted to come home. I wanted to be at home, you know, wrapped around my girlfriend. Because my girlfriend couldn't go because she was pregnant with our firstborn son to her. So she couldn't travel, so I'm on the phone to her, and I just wanted to come home, mate. It was just this beautiful place just turned into such a sadness, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've managed to handle it now. What happened is I got my mum's birth certificate. Right, I went searching for my mum, and what happened is the worker who was working with me said, "I'm so sorry, she said to me, "We're going to officially open your adoption file now." I went away for about a week and a half, me and my partner buzzing, thinking I'm going to find my mum. So she said, "Come in, I've got some news for you." So I'm thinking, yeah, she's found my mum, everything's going to be hunky-dory here now. Sadly, I walked in the office, she gave me my mum's death certificate, and she said, "Your mum's gone." She just passed me my mum's death certificate, you know. She couldn't tell me before because I'd not officially opened my adoption file, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the end results of the beginning of such a tragic childhood, and the answers what I got wasn't what I wanted, you know. I wanted this. I thought all along I'd find my birth family and everything would be nice and hunky-dory. It just wasn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, let's go back to the very start, mate. Yeah. So I found out that I was born in distress from very, very young. I mean, from me growing up, my adoptive mum, a little Welsh woman, used to say to me from very, very young, "You're very special. I picked you because you had beautiful eyes, big saucer-shaped eyes." And like, I used to think, picked from where? Because you pick things off the floor. You know, I'm not like the same as other kids, you know, like been born into a family. I've been picked. So it used to kind of disturb me a little bit. And then my mum said you was born in distress, you. And really, I only realised what that meant when I was like, at nights I'd hold my pillow and I'd bang my head off my pillow dead hard, you know what I mean? Like, and I was just thinking about my birth mum, you know, and why I was given away and whatnot. But when you're that young, it's very hard to put it into words and to think about how to manage. So you just get upset, you know, my birth family have given me away. I'd think, why did they give me away? I'd just get upset and wouldn't want to think about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that turned into this burning, missing hole in my heart, if that makes any sense. You know, I was missing my mum all my life, you know. And it was very hard to handle being known that I was adopted, you know. So yeah, my Welsh woman and a Jamaican man, they adopted me, but my mum said to me, your mum didn't want to give you away. So I used to think about that a lot and think, why didn't she want to give me away? And then I heard the whispers I was born in prison. I thought, wow, that's weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to, as a youngster, I didn't want to open my adoption file in front of my adoptive family, because I had a little sister adoptive sister who was 5 years older than me, and I thought, if I open it, it's going to make them like, I don't love them type thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to open my adoption file officially, you know, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I just kind of rolled with the punches, you know. I was adopted, but my mum wanted to keep me, so I used to run away from home a lot. And I had a Jamaican dad who was adoptive dad, and he was very, very strict. He didn't know how to handle a kid like me. You know, I had picket and stuff as a kid. I used to kick bubblegum off the floor and stuff like that. So I knew I was not normal, you know. And he used to try and like beat things out of me if that doesn't work as for a kid. He wasn't my blood dad, so I used to think, this man who's not my dad, he's beating me.
Yeah.
You know, he's pulling his belt off and beating me, trying to beat his way into me, you know. I knew I wasn't Jamaican, you know, because I just knew that wasn't where I was from. And he was a Jamaican man, and I used to think, wow, the way he's raising me is not right, you know. I'd run away from home and the police would bring me back and stuff like that. And I used to wee the bed, and I used to like wee my pants in school as well, in primary school. And I remember having to take it home and stuff like that, you know, and sometimes wee in the bed. My dad didn't know how to handle it, so he'd like rub my face in it and stuff, and that was like, I can remember him rubbing my face in the wee, you know, to try and get me to stop weeing the bed. But
it's something you can't control.
I know, but I do forgive him for it. I do forgive him because I just feel like he didn't know any better. As an adult, as he grew up and I grew up, I realised he didn't know any other way. You know, he didn't know how to explain things. He couldn't talk. He didn't have the words. He wasn't eloquent enough to explain what he meant and thought. So that's the only way he knew how to do things. He's trying to use a belt or a bamboo cane, or, you know what I mean, his arm, you know what I mean? And but I would never ever raise my kids like I do.
That's what I mean. I think like you're sat here now like defending him, like saying he didn't know what else to do, but you just said you wouldn't do the same yourself. Like,
yeah, I would never do that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what's right and you know what's wrong.
I do, yeah, and I knew that he knew that it was wrong as well, because what was funny is when I used to do something and the police would come to the door, he'd hate the police with a vengeance, but he was such a law-abiding citizen. Like, he wouldn't steal a thing, you know.
Yeah.
If he found someone's wallet on the floor, he'd literally find him to give it back. That type of person, you know what I mean? He was very law-abiding, and I always knew in the back of my mind it was for him. Like, and when I got older, it's funny. He said to me once, he said, "The police come here once for me for beating a kid." So I said, "What do you mean?" He went, "So what it was is we used to have cousins in inverted commas. What it was, my mum had a friend, a Scottish woman who was a friend. She had 4 mixed race children. So they was my cousins in inverted commas. He used to beat one of the girls. He beat one of the girls that bad. The police got involved, knocked on his door and told him he's got to stop beating children."
Yeah.
That's what they told him. And he just come out with it one day to me in my late 30s. I was gobsmacked when he told me. And I spoke to the girl since, because he's still there alive and kicking. She remembers it as well. And she hates him to this day for that.
Yeah. And I suppose then that's kind of confirmation for you that it wasn't just you getting the beatings. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not nothing personal towards you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it wasn't personal. Yeah, that's what I feel. Yeah. And my adoptive sister later on in life accused him of sexually abusing her. Like, she come out with he used to abuse me. She's sadly dead now. She died of a tramadol overdose a couple of years ago. But she come out and started saying he used to abuse her when she was growing up. And I asked him, and he said, with such innocence, he said, I only used to bathe her. But to me, I remember how mad he was when he used to wash me. He'd be like, make sure you wash it, make sure you clean that.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine him doing that to a girl who's like becoming a woman.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a sadistic mind, he's twisted mind, he's doing the right thing by getting her clean, but really he's touching a private part, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So like, he was a bit crazy, a bit quirky, the man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very strange man all his life. And what was mad is, when he got older, he was very private all his life, and he's got family, half brothers and sisters, and his daughter from Jamaica had come over. He had a daughter who he left in Jamaica when he was a teenager, and he never looked after her growing up. And she always held it against him. But as he later on in life, she come round him a little bit. But she always held a thing that she didn't like him because he never raised her, you know what I mean? And what's funny is he used to beat me for weeing the bed. I was the one, me and my partner, moved in his house as he was dying. And as he was weeing himself and soiling himself. And we was the one cleaning him. And it was a funny old world that it turned into me, out of everyone in the family, the only person who would look after him.
Yeah.
Like, the family wouldn't even come and see him, you know what I mean?
It's surprising you showed so much care.
Yeah, everyone says to me, Marv, I don't know how you did it.
Yeah.
But I'm not that person. I was never my dad. And I always knew that I'm a different person to him. I'm not going to do what he does, just because he did it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to follow the leader type thing, you know? And he never had a lot of money, my dad, when we was growing up, you know what I mean? He always had a loan, man. He always had, like, he used to have to pay, get loans and all that. So he was never a rich man, you know? But in a way, I can't say that I hate him or anything like that, do you know what I mean? It's a hard one, really, you know? He had no respect for me growing up. I got a burn on the dead of my back, a cigarette burn dead centre of my back, right? And I can remember my mum saying, I never burnt you with a cigarette. And when I asked my dad, he used to say, you did it through wee in the bed. And I believed him at first. But then I used to think, how's wee got to the dead centre of my back and burnt my back, right? And it's funny because as he was getting older in life, I used to ask him about it. I'd say, Dad, how did I get a burn on my back? And he'd say, how old are you now? And I'd give him my age, and he'd go, oh, and I stopped smoking 5 years before you was born. And he always made a point of making this, talking about, when I asked him about the burn, he'd always say he stopped smoking, which was weird.
Very defensive.
Yeah, very defensive, without him even realising he was being defensive. And I could never ever get to the bottom of it. And when he died, it was funny, right? When he died, it hit me. I thought, I've been making it up all along. It's funny, I just thought, I've been making it up. It just hit me, I've been making it up. It's not true, I never got burned. And I felt my back. I was on the phone to my mate and I said, I've been making it up. And then it hit me what my dad used to say to me, that he used to say, I did it through when I was wee in the bed.
Yeah.
I remembered when he used to say it to me when I was a kid. So I knew, you know what I mean, that. But I'd never ever to this day, I don't know, we burnt me with a cigarette dead centre on the back, you know. That's quite disturbing, do you know what I mean? But yeah, being raised by him was quite difficult. Like, I'd steal out of shops, he had a thing for comfort eating sweets and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And he caught me once and I got a beating for that, but I know he was trying to do the right thing because he wasn't a criminal type thing, you know? So as I got older, I used to go into empty houses a lot and stuff like that. And one day I've gone into this empty house and I pushed the door over upstairs and there was someone asleep behind the door and I ran off. And there was loads of glass, glue and all stuff in the room. I ran off. I went home, I thought about it and I thought, right, wow. I was sat there in my bedroom thinking, what's this? What was that guy doing with that glue and that? And I went back the next day and he'd gone. I started messing with the glue bags and I started sucking on him and it just hit me to this place. And I just thought, wow, like hallucinogenic and everything went really nice, you know, and sort of lightened the world up for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Brightened the world up. I thought, wow, that's amazing. And that was me then. I used to follow the glue sniffers about.
Yeah.
Follow them and find the glue and I'd be getting high on the sly, you know what I mean? And I remember there's a park on our street and I used to go to this little park and I was on a swing one day and I found a tablet on the floor and it looked like a Smartie to me, and I just took it. And it got me so high, I couldn't even stand up straight. I had to go on my bed and lie down. I was very, very young, and the pill just sent me twisted.
How old was you at this point?
God, I was about 8 years of age.
8, and you're sniffing glue, taking pills.
Yeah, took this pill off the floor, and I went home and my head was spinning. I thought, my God, that is crazy. It was a very, very scary pill, but that didn't stop me searching for the glue. You know,
Was you not scared of the consequences from your dad?
Yeah, it was a bit, I was a little bit. He found out I was sniffing gas in the end, because what happened was I was, one Saturday morning, like they used to go shopping on a Saturday morning into the town, and I thought my sister and my mum and dad had all gone. So I got up about 9:30, I got my mum's gas out the cupboard, and sat there like this, psst. The stairs are here looking right to me. And I've got that high, and I turned like that, look up, and I see my sister coming down the stairs. Well, I think I'm hallucinating. I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. Tripping up my sister's ear. Next minute, I feel this whack right across my face. Boom! The gas went flying up. My sister went, "What are you doing?" And I'm going, what do you mean? And the gas is in my mouth. I'll never forget it. And she's gone, "I'm going to tell my mum and dad you're doing that." And I just kind of didn't care. Went out that Saturday and ran away, you know what I mean? Went out all day, you know what I mean? And like when I got home, like they kind of talked about it amongst themselves, you know what I mean? And was like, "You can't do that," you know what I mean? And like, but I don't really remember being told it was like really wrong. If that makes any sense. I can't remember what happened, but I just know I kept doing it. And I kept doing it.
Yeah, because it's just odd, like looking at it like you're in a very strict household.
Yeah.
And you're just so curious to experiment with drugs.
Yeah. I know, it's just like, it was just pure rebellious to him, you know what I mean? I just wanted to do everything. But the gas, this is what hit me with the gas, right? So when I used to get home the gas, I'd get this nursery rhyme, like a nursery song, you know, like a musical box. Those little musical jewellery boxes. And I used to think it'd take me back to my mum. So I don't know if I'd heard that song in that jewellery box was round me when I was in prison with my mum. Yeah. Rewind back to me being in prison with my birth mum. My birth mum just had me in HMP style, and I'm sat there with her back on the mother and baby unit, and she must have had this musical song what was familiar to me playing.
Yeah, like a subconscious memory.
Yeah, so when I got high off this gas, it used to take me to this memory. I used to sit there smiling, thinking, this is where I am. The gas, smiling, thinking, this is so cool. You know what I mean? I'm there, back with my mum in my mum's arms. And somewhere in my psyche, in my DNA, I can remember the last time my mum held me. And everyone will think it's just nonsense, but for some reason, I can just remember being in my mum's arms and the warmth but then I feel the tears. I remember the distress that day. When I'd never seen her again, being let go of her for the last time. Because there must have been a last time, right?
Of course, yeah.
It was the last time my mum gave me away for the last time. And somewhere in me, I can feel it. I don't know if it's the gas kidding me or what, I don't know, or my mind playing tricks on me.
It's what you want to feel.
It's what I want to feel, probably. Yeah.
So how come your birth mum was actually in prison?
She was there for theft, and I read the probation reports, and it says that she was stealing from my uncle's clothing factory. But then when I've met my birth family, I've never heard of this uncle. This uncle was just a fabrication. Yeah. So she was doing a sentence for theft, but she said it was stealing from the uncle's clothing factory. Stealing money. She was working for an uncle. And I've met my birth family since then, but I've never been told the story of my uncle so far. So I don't know how true that was, you know what I mean? But my mum, where it says what was your boyfriend's name, the dad's name of the kid, she put Martin, and he was a musician. Yeah. But my dad wasn't called Martin, because when I met him, he wasn't called Martin at all. So maybe my mum never wanted me to meet him in some way. Yeah. Because she knew what type of man he was. Because when I met him, I'd already heard these stories about him putting guns to girls' head and forcing them to take drugs. I don't know where I heard it before, but I'd heard it. So when I met him for that first time, and I'm talking to him, and he's got on the phone and he's doing a deal with Valium on the phone, and I said to him, just out of conversation, you can buy them fake pills on Berry New Road near me, fake capital of the UK at the time. And he went, can you, Sam? Can you get me some? Can you get me some? Next time you come to London, will you bring them me? And I bought him some. And the day I bought them, the minute I bought them, I lost 20 quid out of my pocket. So I knew it was the wrong thing straight away. I thought, this is wrong. It's going to go tits up.
Yeah.
And it did, because we got to my auntie's garden and he started telling me these extreme stories about how he used to beat women up and force them to take drugs and put them on the game and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He was saying this in front of my girlfriend and it was very, very crass what he was saying.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend got up in disgust and stormed off, you know what I mean? Yeah, we kept a distance from him from then. And then, like I said, sadly, we found out he'd been murdered, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, back to your birth mom.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can feel the moment of her holding you.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Like, because, like, me as a parent,
Yeah.
I could never imagine saying goodbye to my children.
Yeah, it's hard one, mate. Trust me, it really hurts somewhere deep in my psyche, you know what I mean? Knowing that she's given me away for the last time, you know what I mean? It's hard.
You're born in prison, you don't know nothing, you just know you're picked. And that can go 50-50, you either feel special or
Yeah.
why am I being picked? Why am I being picked in the first place?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I shouldn't be in a position where I'm being picked.
Yeah, of course.
And I understand that, and then you're being overly disciplined
Yeah,
by
for sure.
a Jamaican adoptive father,
Mm.
and you're just not scared of the consequences. You're
No.
just...
That's it, yeah. The beatings don't bother me anymore.
They're coming regardless, I presume.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an outsider looking in, so you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
I can't see that.
So
I guess you're right.
you then just experimented drugs at such a young age.
Yeah, I guess it is young, isn't it?
Well, 8 is... My 8-year-old watches YouTube and,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean, plays with Barbies and you're sniffing glue.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was in empty houses all from dead young. That was our kick. That was what we used to do. We'd play out on the street, and there were so many empty houses. I'd go searching these empty houses, these big empty mills, because there was lots of mills on my estate. Because I'm from Ancoats,
Yeah.
and it's right near the city centre of Manchester, and all the mills are there. So these big, massive empty mills, cotton mills at the time. They're all apartments now, multi-million pounders. But back then, they was empty.
Yeah.
And we used to set fires in them and burn them and stuff like that, and get in the empty houses, pull the board off the empty house. And a lot of people leave after stuff. There's half kids' toys on the floor and all that. And I was very inquisitive, so I was always in the empty houses, you know what I mean?
So when you started experimenting with the glue and stuff,
Yeah.
was any of your friends at that time doing the same, or was it just you?
I think I was on my own searching, but yeah, then when I realised there was other people doing it as well,
Yeah.
there was other friends, one of my friends who sadly passed away now, he was the same as me, he did the same. We used to go on missions together, and search around for places to do it, you know what I mean? And sit there, finding the glue bags and stuff and pulling them open and stuff. And walking into the gate, the gate, where all the prostitutes used to work as well. We would always be down there, in the town.
Yeah.
It was like half a mile from our estate.
Yeah.
So we'd do that and go on little missions and walk into the city centre, you know what I mean? I'll go shoplifting even, go stealing, you know what I mean? I can remember robbing this big car from this like a Lewis's, like a multi-story.
Yeah.
And I was sat there with my mate, and we was very, very young, because we was listening to Ebony and Ivory, the song. And I think John McCartney brought it out in about 1984, so I was 10. So I was a 10-year-old swinging, ready to steal this car, and when I got out, got caught straight away, you know what I mean? And got took home, and I was already doing the sniffing then, the glue and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just mad, isn't it?
It is at such a... I've never heard of it, in all honesty. I've never heard of it. Kids at such a young age, being exposed to drugs and actively trying it and getting involved in it.
It wasn't like a drug to us though, like Tipex filling, when we got to 11 and stuff that.
It was fun.
It's just fun. That was just the next level, you know what I mean? By 11 Tipex filling, I was already knowing about drugs and getting high by then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the next one up then, Tipex and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. At what point did the sexual abuse come into things?
So what happened is we moved house at 11, and we'd moved over a hill. It wasn't even far. wasn't even that far, but there's a canal separating it. So it's over the hill, over the bridge, over the canal, and there's these big 4 blocks of flats opposite. And that summer we moved, I was 11. I've gone in the flats, I'm in and out messing around near the flats, and I see this guy, and he's a bit older than me, he's called Andy, curly hair, black curly hair, and he said to me, oh, I've got a games one, so like an Amstrad cassette thing. And I had these games, and I remember him saying to me, oh, I've got games for that at mine. So I said, oh, I'll swap you some games. I think I met him the next day and took the games to him, and he told me his mum lived in the flats. When we got to his bedroom, he said to me, oh, I've got the games, and my mate's got them over there, and he's looking out the window. And little did I know, he was waiting for this man to come home, and then he said to me, right, come over to these flats. He took me to over these flats, and he took me to the 7th floor, number 37, and I opened the door, and there was a big man in his 50s there. And he just got talking to him, and then the man must have given him some coins, because he had coats hung up on the doorway, just behind the door, and he must have given him coins. And next minute he just pulled me into his bedroom, and he had this big wooden toolbox behind it, and he just dragged it behind the door, and he just started licking my face and tearing at me and pulled my clothes off. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I was just froze, you know what I mean? And he just took my clothes off me and just put his body next to mine, you know what I mean? And just molested me and raped me, you know? And I was shocked. Thankfully I didn't get proper raped, you know, it was still a rape, you know what I mean? It was just this horrendous experience I went through, you know what I mean, with this man. And I was just shocked. I just got dressed after it, and he put some coins in my hand, you know, and I went home, and I didn't know what to say. I just thought everyone was going to say that you've been in the flats, and I was just speechless, and I just went to my room and said nothing, and went to school the next day, and I came home and his van was at my house. He had the works van, a delivery driver he had his works van outside my mum and dad's house, because he overlooked the house.
Yeah.
So he knew who I was. When I went home, he watched me from his balcony, seen where I went to go home. So he played it smart. When I got home from school, he's at the house. His van's parked outside. He went, oh, here he is, just come home from school. I'm like, oh, wow. And he went, oh, thank. So he had an elderly mum. And she used to sit there watching snooker on a chair in the living room, down the corridor to the flat. But what was mad is, he was doing this to me, and the caretaker of the flats, who used to mop and clean, lived opposite him. Literally, so in these flats, you get out the lift and do a left, and there's 2 flats, and the caretaker's on their own, separated off, and he knew, this caretaker knew, seeing us kids, me,
going in and out,
uniform, in and out of there, and I used to look at him and say, gee, is it wrong? Is it wrong?
Why isn't it being stopped?
Is someone going to say, he's wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because he used to hide it from his mum, so I knew he was doing something wrong, you know what I mean? When his mum would say, John, what are you doing in there? He'd go, oh, nothing, mum, we're just fixing this picture frame or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and it just went on. And it was only when I got older that, because by then I was druggy, I was into drugs and experiment with drugs, smoking weed and stuff, you know what I mean? And I remember I used to sit in his toilet waiting for him to come home from work to give me money, and sit in his toilet sniffing gas, you know what I mean? Because he said to me, wait for me to come home and I'll be there 6 or whatnot. And I was just zoned in I just felt like he was like an uncle or something, you know what I mean? It's just crazy, bro.
So looking at this,
Horrendous.
You moved out at 11, you met a guy, Andy.
Yeah.
How old was he?
It's about 16.
He's a few years older than you. He says, I've got
yeah.
a games console, come to mine, we could swap games. You went round his, he then led you to a 50-odd-year-old man's, who then sexually abused you. And as far as you know, this Andy got paid for it. Do you think...
Give him coins. I've seen him since as well, you know, and I was shocked to see him. And now if I see him, I'd citizens arrest him or something, bro.
Yeah. Do you think, though, me looking at it now
I
from the
think he was
outside,
being abused as well.
I was saying, do you think he was being abused and he's...
1,000,000%.
passed you along, so it's now off him,
1,000,000%.
it's now onto you.
1,000,000%. But he was still going there though, even when I was going there, getting money off the guy as well.
Yeah.
Because this guy was just that. He had not just me, there was other kids going there as well.
Yeah.
So I think he was just molesting kids and giving them money, you know what I mean?
So that first time it happens, you're frozen, he's done whatever.
Yeah.
Did you try and stop?
I tried to.
Walk
I
off,
had his finger on me, his what's it on my leg. Never forget it. He fingered on my leg.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it off, and I'm thinking it's going to stain my leg, and I couldn't scrub it off enough. I'll never forget it. You know what I mean?
And then you go home, you don't tell anyone, you go to school, and you come back the next day and his van's there.
Yeah. He'd become a family friend. He was like coming round to get me then.
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming out with some deliveries in the van. You know what I mean?
Do you think he did that to keep everyone close, so if you ever did open your mouth, it's not going to be believed? Like, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, for sure. Because there was no such thing as pedos around there back then.
Yeah.
That word didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because I when I got a bit older, when I got to 17, I was selling weed, and I used to buy my weed off a Rasta guy called Pedo. That was his nickname. And no one blinked. Pedo, that was his nickname. So
Yeah.
the name wasn't even a word then.
Yeah.
Right.
So, looking at it now, why didn't you open your mouth?
I don't know. I don't think I had the words to. I don't think I knew how to vocabularise it. And then, as I got a bit older, I just thought it was what everyone did, what everyone had to deal with, you know what I mean?
Do you think you'd be blamed for it?
Dirty old men type thing.
Mm. Do you think you'd be blamed for it?
Yeah, I thought I'd have been blamed, yeah.
Yeah, look, you've got yourself in this situation and you get beaten for it as well.
Yeah. Because I didn't like my dad at all, did I? So I didn't respect him enough. I didn't think he'd believe me, you know what I mean? And it was like such a nice thing, like my mum would go, oh, you're going up to John's today? Fucking hell, man, only if they knew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
So then, obviously you go back. How long did this go on for?
A couple of summers, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking, 2 years.
Mm.
Did it get worse?
Just the same shit with him, you know what I mean? Just trying to molest me all the time, you know
It's
what I
become
mean?
routine.
Yeah, and then in the end I started pushing him off me and just saying no, you know what I mean? I just refused and just walked past his flat, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
fuck this. And then as I got old enough to realise it was wrong, he just died. His mum died first.
Mm.
And then he was just kind of like, I'd just see him all the time, like out and about in his van, you know what I mean? I was kind of distance, pushed him away by then.
Yeah.
And I just thought, why is he getting away with this with more kids and more kids? And I started getting a bit furious, and one day an ambulance was saying he was dead. And that was it. Finished, it was over.
Yeah.
And I never told anybody for 30 years.
Do you think you went along with it
In depth.
because, like, you was obviously getting into drug addiction at this point, you needed funding?
I just thought I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing wrong anyway by taking the gas and stuff and taking drugs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing wrong anyway, type thing.
Because it's a horrible way to explain it, but you're basically pimping yourself out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're hating every minute of it. I can imagine a scared child.
Yeah. I
Probably-
just thought it was normal though, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? The few coins what I used to get didn't you know what I mean? That wasn't even it. It was just like, I just thought I was just locked in, you know what I mean?
At that young age, did you understand what he was doing?
No, I didn't understand it. I just knew what he was doing was wrong. No one had ever talked to me about anything like that before, you know what I mean?
Because even like, I've got 3 daughters, and I always say like, they're your private parts, like,
Yeah,
cover yourself.
I never was told anything like that. Bro.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Never, man.
Especially being a lad as well, it's different.
Yeah, I've never been told anything like that.
You don't really expect a lad to be sexually abused. Obviously
Yeah,
it happens, but you
that's
just
it, yeah.
straight away
I think
girls.
that's what I mean. I think my parents would never ever believe it from a million miles, you know what I mean?
And now they thought you being a tall rag, you're
Yeah.
either lying or...
Yeah.
So then, you got wise to it a couple of years down the
A
line.
lot of rebelling in school and a lot of playing up and a lot of, you know, hiding secrets and stuff like that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's horrible, you know, having to say like to my friends, oh, I can't play, I've got to go out somewhere else, you know what I mean? And not being able to like deal with friends after school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was in the city centre all the time, you know, like wanting to do street robberies. We've got into thieving and around the prostitute area, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
robbing punters and stuff like that, you know, like helping the girls take the money off the men, you know, running around the corner, and
Yeah.
robbing the wallet and running off, helping the girls steal money and stuff.
So
Just
it
got
is-
to growing up with me then.
Of course.
Yeah, just got to be in town in the city centre, like around all the little toll rags, you know what I mean, and all the strays. I was around a lot of kids who was running away from home a lot, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and doing a lot of crime, you know what I
Getting
mean.
more involved and learning more.
More learning, more, yeah.
So
Definitely
with
learning more.
the sexual abuse, do you
Yeah.
think your drug addiction and use worsened during that period?
Sure, yeah, I was losing a lot of gas. I can remember just gassing gas, lots of gas. You know, to just forget it.
Yeah.
Mad, just to forget it. And just to go back to this hallucinogenic state, what was better than this world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
then,
I knew I was playing up in school and all that, so I just thought, everyone fucking hates me anyway type thing, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I'm just a nuisance to everyone, you know what I mean? I'm always getting kicked out of classes, I'm always playing up, I'm always being a nuisance, you know?
You,
Can't sit still.
so you're basically thinking, I'm going to be what everyone thinks I am.
Yeah, putting this out, yeah.
And if people actually ask me why I'm doing it,
Yeah,
they might actually understand.
yeah, that's it, yeah. Yeah,
Because you do see a lot of that, like people acting out or they're taking drugs, and same as suicide, people are self-harming.
yeah,
Instead of saying, oh, he's bad for taking drugs,
yeah.
why is he taking
Of
drugs?
course, yeah. I never got sat down and was like, why? Because it was always whispers, it's because he was in prison, his mum was a druggie, and that was me, you know.
It was
what I mean?
inevitable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it, yeah. His mum was a druggie, so when I heard them whispers, like, you know what I mean? I thought, oh, I'll be a druggie as well then, you know,
Yeah.
innit?
Living up to what everyone thought you was going to be anyway.
I'll be
Yeah.
a druggie as well, you know what I mean? My mum was in prison, she was in prison for some hard steel stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? That's what it got to, you know. But them little situations get a bit serious sometimes, you know. You've got yourself in some quite scary predicaments, you know what I mean? Because like you're a kid and you're robbing things off men,
Yeah.
and they're coming at you, you know what I mean? And they're fucking trying to boot you or hit you with a bottle or something, you know what I mean? And chasing you and that. And a couple of times we got caught and had an hiding off people, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Yeah, like it got a bit heavy sometimes, you know.
Yeah. So you pulled away from the sexual abuse, that bloke, then started hanging about in city centres with more like-minded people, getting worse, progressing in the criminal world.
For sure.
What
Watching people do more crimes. I've started watching people break into cars. That was me then, on the road to car crime. That was my MO. I'd walk around the streets and blow windows out with a bit of spark plug and get the contents of the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'd do that a lot. Like, there was me and another gang, there was gangs of us doing it, you know, in the city centre.
Yeah.
For sat-navs and stuff like, you know, it started getting face-offs for your stereos,
Yeah,
and
stereos, yeah.
and face-offs, and then it got to sat-navs and telephones, didn't it? You know, before phones was around, you know what I mean? It used to be sat-navs, didn't it, and stuff. So yeah, I did a good long time thieving, you know what I mean, doing thieving for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was just for like bud at first, you know, or like, because what happened was me and my mate, this girl who used to sell weed in the flats near us, in one of the other flats, called Joanne, she said to us one day, do you want to start serving up for me from here? So we said, yeah, me and my best mate. Started serving from a little spy hole in the door, you know, those diamond shaped holes in the door. And literally people would bang on the door and we'd be selling sticks of weed through the door, you know what I mean? And bits of speed and stuff like that, or LSD. That was from like 1988, you know what I mean? I was getting into 14 then. And the dance scene had kind of started then. Started getting into LSD and amphetamine, you know what I mean? And like E started coming into it, you know what I mean? But I was very into LSD, you know, hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very into them. I was taking a lot of LSD and I was taking it in school, you know. And stuff
And
like
just
that.
because it'd take you away from reality.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It was just an escape, yeah.
Yeah.
By 1988, I was bad into acid. Loved it.
Was you disgusted with what you had gone through?
For sure, yeah. I just locked it away by then.
Yeah.
Kept it secret.
Did you ever find yourself putting more of a front on?
I was always a front, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's all it is a front. When you're traumatised inside, you put it out there by putting fronts on, don't you? You put layers on and masks on, you know what I mean? And like, you know, whether you want to admit it or not, that's what you do.
But being this person,
You try and build yourself into a person that, you know,
nobody'd think that would happen to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
do you know what I mean?
The last person that you get close
You'd
to.
ever expect it to, yeah.
Because no one could, I wouldn't let anyone touch me. Like, I remember my friend coming up to me, play fighting me one day. Grabbed me like, I went, don't touch me, bro, like that.
Yeah.
He's going, man, I threw him to the floor and put my elbow to his throat. I hurt him, you know what I mean? He burst into tears and was like, Marvin, you know, father. And I said, bro, I told you not to touch me, but I'm only been playing, you know what I mean? I thought, I hate people touching me, you know what I mean? Like,
obviously, like, I know you now as the person you are now, but looking back at that time, did you ever question your sexuality?
Nah. I was
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I hated every minute of it, bro, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was never a two-way thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I never expect you to enjoy any of it.
It was never like, look, like, it's not, when you're being abused, it's not like something where you're both two-way.
100%.
I was I'd never touch him, you know what I mean? He'd be just touching me.
Yeah, no, just because you're being exposed to a man doing that to another male. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't even get an erection.
Yeah, of course, 100%. Like,
I couldn't do it.
Brutal what you went through.
It was
abuse.
I couldn't even get an erection, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd literally put his penis between my legs and do that. Yeah. That's how he'd get off and, you know, pretend to. It was, to me, that rape, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's still putting his things between your legs, you know what I mean? And he'd try and push it as close to my private parts as possible, you know, where he's pushing his penis. Yeah. You know, so he'd never literally, you know, put it there, but he would put it right next to my private, you know what I mean? And it was horrendous, you know.
100%. Yeah. So looking back at those times in your teenage years, at that time, what was the worst thing you got yourself into, crime-wise?
Crime-wise? Just street robberies, I think. I got convicted for street robbery. I got arrested at 13 for street robbery in the city centre. And all I'd done, my mate had took a gold signet ring off someone, and I was stood with him and went, mate, can I have a cig? And I took a cig off the lad, and that was me, a robbery charge. You know, because he was being robbed at the time for his signet ring, and I just went, mate, can I have a cig? And took a cig. I was there, so I was a robber as well, you know what I mean? And I got convicted for robbery at 13, 14, going into 14. So I was at probation service, you know, doing probation with, it was like a probation office like half a mile away from me, so I used to go in the probation office and have to play snooker with the probation officer, you know what I mean? It turned out he turned into like this regional probation officer, main one for the service, you know, because he started in Suffolk, such a rough place, you know. And I just used to sit there really and just speak to him, just say nothing, just play snooker and just chit chat.
Yeah, go through the process.
Yeah, and then just get off and then go stealing in the city centre and whatnot, you know what I mean?
How was your adoptive dad at this time, Ian?
He'd lost me by then, he was gone.
Just gave up?
Yeah, he was just always calling me a liar and stuff all the time, you know what I mean?
And
trying to control my life, you know, but I was already into the rave scene then. Like, there was a nightclub near us called the Thunderdome, a very famous club, and it was one of the clubs that started the rave scene with the Hacienda and stuff like that. And my mum used to let me go, you know, because it was all, everyone used to talk about the Thunderdome, and to them it was just dancing, you know what I mean? But it was drugs.
Yeah, the pills.
Core drugs, you know what I mean? It was this club was drenched in drugs, you know what I mean? So they used to think I was going as like this 14-year-old to dance and that, but really I was going to get high as a kite. So I'd go home tripping my box off, hallucinating, you know what I mean? My dad would go to work, because he'd work nights, so he'd go to work, and when he'd go to work, I'd just go back out into the rave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At that time, did you ever want to be normal for that age?
I didn't know what normal was, I didn't know what normal was, you know what I mean? We was into taxing then, taxing had come out, so I got taxed, everyone was taxing. I used to hang around with a gang in the city centre. There was loads of us, like 60 of us or something. You know, we used to meet up and gang up in the city centre and stuff like that. And like then a lot of football hooligans was there as well, and they'd go keen the shit out of people on a Saturday. But these are big grown men, and they turned into big name gangsters in the city centre at the time. But at that time, we was just kids then, you know, we was all youngsters then, going to dance clubs, you know, body popping and stuff like that, you know what I mean, hip hop and whatnot, But then, like I say, the rave scene had started then, that just got stuff into the next levels, you know what I mean? It just got really easy and messy, and they all turned into like jumping the bar and robbing the till and all that, you know what I mean? Turned into major players, you know.
Yeah.
I was still a young kid then. I was just into drugs. So I was just selling drugs in nightclubs and stuff, getting drugs off people, selling them, taking a lot of them. And what happened was, I'm in a nightclub with this girl. I'm dancing in this nightclub. I see this girl, she keeps looking over at me. I start speaking to her anyway. At the time though, like my girlfriend is at home, pregnant, but I'm just a raver. Because when my girlfriend got pregnant, it shocked me to the core because like I was only 17, I'd never expected her to get pregnant. She was told me she was on the pill. Our relationship was rocky, and then she come up with bang, I'm pregnant. It was like, what? You know what I mean?
It's not going to help anything.
Didn't help nothing at all, bro. Like, didn't help our relationship. It didn't help nothing, you know what I mean? I was into the rave scene. I was like a raver, and she was like a home drinker. But I didn't drink alcohol. So we're drinking alcohol, getting drunk, and me sat at home wanting to rave. It was just two different people. We grew into two different people, you know? And like I say, she was pregnant. So I seen this girl and said we would go back to hers raving, chilling out, and dabbing whiz I was. I had some whiz, and she said to me, have you ever tried cocaine? And I said, yeah, but really I'd only ever had it in a joint passed around. And she went away, phoned a dealer. She phoned a crack dealer. A guy met her in the kitchen, give her the crack, and she'd come in and just brought a pipe in, crack pipe, and just went, suck on this, and little did I know, and it was like a £10 piece of crack on it. And I just went, and as I'm sucking it, I just thought, my God, what is this? I pulled it away and just hit my brain like a train. Because remember now I'm into drugs, right? I'm an
heavy drug user.
Bad drug user, bro. And this hit me like, boom, this is amazing. Wow. That's the first thing I thought is, wow, this is so nice. Give me some more of that. And I've got all this crumpled sweaty money in my pocket of selling pills, and I'm buying it and putting pieces away on the slide, buying it and putting pieces away. Went to my best mate and went, after I'd finished with her, like, smoked loads of money with her, got to like 10 o'clock in the morning, went to my mate's house, knocked him up, and bro, I've just tried this. Don't know what it is. And like, smoke it, you do, and just started smoking it. Little did we know it was crack cocaine, you know what I mean? And that was me on the road to crack with my mate, you know.
How long did that take to completely consume you?
Immediately, believe it or not.
Just wanted that high all the time?
Yeah.
Did you ever match that very first high?
No, I chased it.
Because I've always heard that, like, you get the crack heroin, you get that first high, then
you do get that high again, to be fair, but the first time is always the best time, you know what I mean? Like, if you do a prison sentence, you get out and you've had it again, and not had it for months, it's like a first time all over again. But yeah, I was addicted straight away. I thought, this is beautiful, this is better than all them other drugs, you know what I mean? It's better than them all. That's all I thought.
Yeah.
And what was mad is, a few weeks before, I bought an ounce of speed off this guy, or 2 ounces of whiz, and it had all these oblong glass shapes in it, right? I looked at it, poured it all out to bag it up and whatnot, and it's got these oblong glass shapes in it, and they're all exactly the same shape, so like they've been machine made, right? And I'm thinking, what are all them crystals in that whiz? I mean, I always smoke things. I was never like, I used to smoke things and snort things, right? So I thought straight away, I'm going to smoke this. I melted it, got it all out and put it in a joint. And it hit me like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And I got it all out of this whiz. And I went back to him and went, bro, have you got any more of that whiz? And he'd gone, nah, sold all that one. I've got this other one now. And he didn't have the crystals in it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I remember, it was a few weeks before I'd ever tried crack. I took all these crystals out. And when I tried crack, it made me remember what that was. I thought, oh, it's like that stuff I'd had before. Little did I know that was crystal meth, right? I'm taking out the speed. And it was so much chemically like the crack. I thought, wow, that's like that what I had before. I went to my mate, bro, it's like that thing I was telling you about in that way. It's fucking amazing, you know what I mean? Because that whiz, I think I took most of it out and just, you know what I mean, and smoked it. You know, it was that nice.
So what kind of addict did you become? Because like being like a weed smoker every day is like...
At first it was manageable because I used to sell bud, right? So I was selling weed 10th floor, black door, you could come to me and buy weed. When I got on the crack, my business went to pot. I gave it my mate on the 5th floor, right? I said to him, bro, you can have the business. I'm too busy out making money, you know what I mean? I want more money. It's coming too slow, like the weed business is too slow for me. And I'm out doing rob because there was a lot of heroin sellers and a lot of drug dealing on my estate at the time. Loads and loads of drug users coming on buying drugs. So I'd just be going on robbing the drug users. Do you want to score? Yeah, gives you money and just walk off. I'd be doing that, you know what I mean? Like, there was that much money on my estate. Like at the time, it was where everyone was scoring from, you know what I mean? So it was a very busy estate. Obviously done a few operations and cleaned it up afterwards, but at the time it was very easy to get money. So my weed business was too slow for me to make money, so I just ended up getting into all the drug users and being around drug users and the working girls, you know what I mean? And scoring for them and stuff like that, you know, and that was me then just on the road and breaking into cars and car crime.
Just getting money to fund the drug habit?
Yeah, money to fund the drug habit, and that was me on the road to drug addiction.
So for people to understand as well, like how bad your drug addiction was, like, I don't know nothing about crack, heroin, and a lot of people ain't going to know that kind of thing either.
But crack is, listen, this is the thing, mate, this is what people need to know about cocaine. Crack and cocaine are very, very close. Chemically, they're the same.
Yeah.
Crack is only cocaine with an additive put to it to clean the dirt out of it, basically. Yeah. And that's all it is cocaine is so much like crack. People need to be aware of that. People need to be noticed of that.
Yeah.
A lot of percentage of these people who are cocaine users will start become a crackhead because it's inevitable that there's a lot of people who smoke crack who take cocaine, right? If you've got money, you can manage it. If you've got no money, you become a drug addict. You become streetless, homeless, and become a nobody, and you end up on the street. If you can't manage, that's what happens these days. You're on the street, homeless, trying to make money. You know, if you let yourself go on them drugs. So I'd warn people not to touch it.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I'd warn people not to take cocaine because cocaine is just a slow burner. What happens with cocaine is you'll take it, think it's dead nice, and want to do it every week or every 2 weeks while you're partying. But you'll quickly realise that you've got to take it when you take alcohol, and you can't take the one without the other, you know, because it does the right things for you, and before you know it, you're taking it before you go to work and stuff, you know, it becomes a problem.
It does quickly consume you, yeah.
And it's seeped in society at the moment, cocaine. There's never been more cocaine in this country than there is now. If there was as much cocaine now as there was when I was a kid, I'd be dead now.
Yeah.
I used to have to buy crack cocaine, you could only buy it. The guy who sold crack to me and my mate used to turn his phone off at 10 o'clock at night. That's how new crack was to them. He didn't realise that you wanted to buy it all night. He turned his phone off and got to bed and like, see you tomorrow. Yeah. We'd be like this, ripping at our faces, where can we buy crack from? You know, we'd have to go into Moss Siding to type into gang to buy it, you know what I mean? It was brand new. Now, I've been smoking it every day, everywhere, because crack's everywhere. Yeah. Cheap, cocaine's dirt cheap, you know, it's very, very, it's everywhere. I advise everyone, just leave it alone, you know what I mean? You're just feeding people's pockets, that's all you're doing, you know, you're losing money out of yours to feed somebody else's, you know, and before you know it, your nose will collapse and you'll start having problems, you know, in your bones of your nose and stuff, because the chemicals, what they make cocaine with, are very, very detrimental to the bones of your nose, you know what I mean? You've only got thin bones up here, believe it or not. You start sniffing, you start feeling that weakening, you know what I mean? You're going to damage your face forever, you know? I'd advise you just don't take cocaine, you know?
So with a crack, like, how much is a rock of crack like a hit to get you high?
10 quid is 1 point, so you get a pint, you get 10 grams in a pint.
And how many of them a day was you doing?
400 quid worth if we had the money, 700 quid, 800 quid, 900 quid, 1,000 quid a day, easy.
So crack. Did you build up a tolerance, or was it just I'm high, I'm going to get
You don't get a tolerance on crack, it's never a tolerance on crack.
Okay.
Every time you take crack on a pipe, it will hit you every time like a brand new hit. It's not a tolerance, bro, it's not a tolerance thing.
So you're literally just doing it for
So the problem with, like, the difference with cocaine and heroin is this. Cocaine, you can only do so much. The difference between heroin and cocaine is this. You can only do so much heroin before you will fall asleep. You'll overdose and drop dead. You know? Yeah. You can't sit there taking heroin all night and think you're not staying awake, you're dropping to sleep, you know? Cocaine keeps you awake, it's the opposite. Yeah. You can sit there and smoke cocaine till your eyes fall out your head. And you will, you know what I mean? So I used to smoke cocaine, and when you stay awake off it, it makes it worse. It amplifies the drug. So you're half, you know what it's like when you've not slept for a couple of days. You're half hallucinating anyway, and you're high on crack cocaine.
Yeah.
You become a very messy person, you know what I mean? You're not thinking straight, you're not acting straight. Your life's like you're living in a movie, you know?
Yeah.
You're around people who are doing crazy things, but to you it's completely normal. I mean, one of my best friends used to strip off, bullet naked, till he was naked to the bone, run out the front door, run down the main road with all cars and taxis, run, high on crack, until the crack pipe, the high had worn off a little bit. Then he'd come down, his brain had realised what he was doing. He'd run to the back street and run all the way back to the back to the crack house, get dressed and do the same thing again, have another pipe of crack, strip naked and run off again.
That's just normal.
That would be normal. That's just a sign of insanity, but to us that was normal. My man doing that was just a normal thing.
Yeah.
He'd be like, Mama's run off again, we'll be back in a minute. Make sure no one touches his clothes, you know what I mean? He'd take his clothes, you'd make you sit there with an iron, with no electric, you'd have an iron, and he'd make some girl iron his clothes, but there'd be no iron working, the iron would be cold, and she'd just be standing there, because he'd be like, iron clothes for me to make sure no bugs get on them, you know, you get bug fetishes, and ingrowing hairs become like a knife, like a bug. And ingrowing hair is a bug to you, you know what I mean? When you need to get out and you get a knife on it, you'll massacre it, you know what I mean? So you see a lot of people with lots of scars and stuff when they take drugs, you know, because you massacre your face, you know what I mean? It's like you self-harming, really. You know, I remember a girl who used to get her eyelashes, broken glass, her eyelashes, get 2 pieces of glass and flick her eyelashes out with a broken glass. Looking through broken glass, 2 pieces of broken glass, and flicking her eyelashes out one at a time with the glass. And she'd get this infection on her eyes, like this white stuff, and she'd pick it off and she'd think it was crap. You know what I mean? It stinked on the pipe.
And nobody would think anything else?
I would think nothing of it. Just be normal, you know?
Do you think there's enough help for drug addicts?
No, there's not. We all know there's not. We all know for a fact drugs should be in control of the government, don't we? God knows why it isn't. It shouldn't have been legal years ago. Yeah. Cocaine and all that. The reason why it's not is because third world countries grow it, and these first world countries don't want to enrich them third world countries. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because if they did, they'd get all the cocaine like they've got all the like petrol. It'd be dealt with and managed like petrol, like any other substance. People could go to the shop, buy it. You sign a license for it, buy it, like alcohol. Yeah. But for some reason, they want it in the hands of criminals who are just underhanded. Yeah. So these people who do them laws must be making a lot of money to not want to see the sense in the drug laws, because I believe we're living now in like, in 100 years we'll look back at now as like the time when the Wild West in America. Yeah. You know, when you could just walk in a saloon and just shoot someone and get away with it. I think in a couple of 100 years you'll look at us then, they'll be like, wow, then back then let drugs be illegal and into the hands of criminals, and people could stand on the street corner and sell drugs and make £1 million and stash it in a box in their house and be rich forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Kids can do that, but why would the government just not keep in control of them all? Every drug will come out, they control, they own, and they deal with it. You've got to go to a license and buy it. You'd soon get it out of the hands of criminals, wouldn't it?
Exactly. It closes up that. Like, you have to look at Amsterdam, for example. Like the high streets in England are falling apart. All the shops are closing. Why not legalise cannabis? Yeah. That way, then you're setting up shops, employing staff.
That's it. Everyone would be tax. Cafes would be open.
Yeah.
Stuff
You got
like
cafes.
that.
Then you've got your manufacturers.
Yeah. Manufacturers are making.
Then you've got to get A to B. Then you've got lorry drivers. You've got so many things going on.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's then regulated.
So just imagine that for cocaine, because you know a lot of people take cocaine. A lot of people like it. I don't understand why they don't sell Bolivian cocaine, Colombian cocaine, bleeding. You know, sell it by the gram. You've got to go to a doctor. You're licensed to take it. You've got to sign a waiver saying it's only for you and your personal use. I don't see why the adult couldn't take it. I don't know why it's in the hands of criminals. Yeah. This powder, what is so valuable, and anyone, a gang of lads can just sit there, like from school, and just sit and go, let's make a gang today, and let's start selling for someone, and we'll call our gang this and that, and we'll make sure we get a gun, and we'll show it online so everyone's scared of us. And there you go, there's a gang. And that's what happens all up and down the country, bro.
But the war on drugs has completely failed, so they might as well just use it and make profit from it. Yeah. And then they can pump the money elsewhere as well as everyone else.
That's it. I mean, even if they just go to the cocaine growers, the governments, and say, right, stop giving it illegally, we'll buy it off you. from source.
Yeah.
We'll give you better money than they give it you. And just buy it and stock it all up and just stop it happening. It's the way they could do it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Governments.
Yeah. Well, I think
Governments.
the lack of help for drug addictions, I just think it's a lack of understanding.
It is. It's a lack of understanding. All right, but they help alcoholism. They understand people take alcohol. They understand people get addicted to alcohol. So they can manage alcohol. They manage alcohol, don't they?
Yeah.
Why is there not pubs like weed? Why is there not a weed gaff where you could go smoke as much bud as you want in a nightclub and go home nice and merry? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cannabis is not a violent thing. It doesn't make you violent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've legalised it halfway in the back door now. Anyway, as you know, with these cannabis prescriptions, what you can get now in the UK. I mean, you know, these prescriptions, what you can get in the UK. So they've just done it through the back door anyway, you know what I mean? But still, all these kids who are unknowing of that are still walking around the street getting arrested for possession of cannabis or selling it and stuff. When little do you know, like your doctor can prescribe it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just unknown. They don't even advertise it. You've seen the adverts, what they do for this legal cannabis now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, do you smell this smoke a little different? Like, they just do these weird adverts, like, nothing to do with cannabis, but like make you think, what's that smell? And you've got to like work out the advert yourself. You know, once you see them, you'll understand what I mean. Like, they don't say, this is cannabis and we sell it now under the counter, you know, you can buy it legally off a doctor. They just say, like, there's a smell coming in the room. I wonder what it is. And then you've got to guess that it's cannabis, you know.
So, in another world, you have some kind of power. In another world, this is. How would you help those struggling with drug addictions?
God, the money what would be made off selling it legally would be pumped into helping people who fell off. You know, there'd be places where you could go and there'd be doctors and specialists. You know what I mean? And there'd be as much help as possible.
In your experience,
I think if they kept, there'd be homeless stuff and go out the window in a day.
Yeah.
What if they legalised drugs and announced it and just tried it out? I don't mean give it to people who've already fell off though, if that makes any sense. I mean like the people who take it, who pretend they don't take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These parties, cocktail party people and stuff like that, who would deny it to work. You know what I mean? I think they'd really need an open discussion about, look, if we enjoy it, like, it should be legalised. Let's try and put, I don't know how it's going to work, mate, but like I say, I think it's the Wild West now. We're in the Wild West of times with drugs.
Yeah.
Like the times where you can just do what you want. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. From your experience, how many drug addicts didn't want to be that way? Wanted out, but it's just...
I think a lot of people like the drugs, but they just don't like what it does to them because of how society looks at you, doing it. Like, if you take drugs, you're this bad person. Like, oh man, he take drugs, he fucking... keep away from him, turn away from him, you know, just snap him off, or he needs help straight away, you know what I mean? Some people take drugs and manage it all their life. We just don't see them people. We only see the people who fall off, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, we don't see the people who've done it 30 years and are still doing it.
And managing it.
And managing it.
Yeah.
They're the people who we should be making money off to help people who have fell off, right?
Yeah.
It would even itself out, wouldn't it, bro?
Yeah.
I know it would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people who would legally buy it, like, yeah, I can suddenly buy Peruvian cocaine. That is crazy. Like, I'm going to try that over Colombian. You know what I mean? And
It's safer then, safer and
safer and regulated, and everything's done on like legal. And heroin, even if people want to take heroin, let them take it. If they want to take ecstasy on a night out to party one night, let them take it. You know, all these drugs should be just legalised and controlled and in government hands.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, you ain't going to stop it, so regulate it.
Regulate it.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
It does make sense.
It does. And in a couple of 100 years it'll make sense, but not now, because people are too blind to it. There's either too much money being made underhand, or people are happy how it is.
Yeah.
People are happy with the prison system, private prisons for profit. You know the drill, don't you? Private prisons make people money. A lot of people put money into stocks and shares, and private prisons are a lot of stocks and shares. What are really good at the minute. So who's going to stop putting money into private prisons if they make money?
Yeah.
But what happens is, you'll find is, a lot of little American towns, they got a prison built and a police station built, and suddenly it's filled with all locals. They've done nothing, they just filled it just to make money off the private prison. You know what I mean? And it's just sad. I mean, I believe it's lowered a lot in America now, but it happened. It went to a peak. There was like 1 million people in prison in America at one point, you know. They had everyone locked up. you know, and I just fear that it's used over here, you know, and now people are getting to grips with it that a non-violent offender for drugs, he's not really doing no harm. He's just committing crime for drugs. Let's get him some help. You know what I mean? Try and help him stop. But, you know, like I say, if it was legal, it'd be like, you know, you're doing too much, but you can manage, you know, like, you know, I don't know what would you say? How would you nail it? Sorry.
I would say regulate the drugs.
For sure.
Legalise it, regulate it. They're going to make an insane amount of profit. You're stopping gangs, stopping violence.
That's it.
You're never going to stop people robbing for money for drugs.
Yeah.
We're also never going to stop people, moms robbing to get baby milk for the kids.
That's it.
Thieving's a part of life.
Yeah,
It's to feed something, whether to feed for survival, drugs, alcohol. That's a part of life. You're never going to stop it. But at least with the drugs, it's safer. Less overdoses, it's going to be regulated, and they can make a serious amount of money, taxation, jobs,
for sure.
everything
it's
from it.
It's just crazy how it's illegal now, and it's just killing people off, you know what I mean? Like, obviously some drugs are more dangerous than others, like the legal spice what came out, but I've got a story about that, man. When I got clean off crack, I got onto spice, and that was worse than crack. Trust me, spice was horrendous. Spice is illegal. They've got it selling, and now it's a really big problem at the minute. I mean, I sadly brought it to Manchester, you know, the worst thing I ever did. But to me, at the time, it was just a normal thing to do. I mean, I had offered it people who'd never took it before, which I regret now. But it was legal cannabis to me.
Well, synthetic cannabis.
It was branded as synthetic cannabis. So at the time, I was getting loads of it dirt cheap from a shop, direct from a shop. At first, I used to go and have to pay 20 quid for it. In the end, he got to know me. He started giving me samples of it, bro. I was a crash test dummy. I used to go in. There was a white guy with dreadlocks to the floor, white dreads, right? Rasta guy, blonde dreads. And he'd go, Marv, test that for me. And he'd give me it in a bag, in a clear bag. Because he used to tell me that the bagging, the packaging would cost more than the spice.
Of course, yeah.
The packaging to get it would cost more than what was inside it. Unbelievably. So it was cheap as chips, the drug. And he'd give it me in a bag to sample, and I'd go to this old abandoned pub outside of his shop round the corner, and I'd wrap 50% spice and 50% tobacco, wrap it and smoke it, and I just hold on to the wall sometimes, you know, because it hit my head that much. It felt like my head was going to fall off. Smashing big noise in my head, you know what I mean? Like if anyone's ever took poppers and you get that banging, the spice is like that, but down your body. It's like it gives you, you feel like you're robotic. It's the strangest feeling ever, but it's a very, very, it's a Moorish feeling. So you can see why street people take it, because it warms you up, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden, right, so what happened is, you smoke spice and you get a tingle from your fingers all the way up your arms. Bzzz, and before you know it, your body's tingling, burning, hot. So if you're on the street cold, homeless, spice is going to be the drug for you, right?
And so, it's cheap.
And it's cheap. So when I got out and I was getting these big bags of spice, dirt cheap, and I'm smoking a little pipe and it's sending me head west. And I'm thinking it's better than crack. I'm never touching crack again now. I can smoke this. And it was the truth, you know what I mean? I started smoking this spice. And I'm going to my mates in town who are like beggars or grafters, pickpockets and stuff who I know smoke crack. And I'm going, bro, try this. And they're having a little go. I'm going, where'd you get that from? Oh, it's mint. And they turned into spice heads. Sadly, most of them are dead now. I try and find them now. They're not in the street. They're dead. You know what I mean? Lots of them have gone, you know. There was like a food van in the area what used to double up as like a big, like the prostitutes know when you had a bad punter. I'd write down who's died in it and stuff. And there's this place near Strangeways Prison, this like porter cabin. You walk in there, they've got all pictures and names of people who've passed away on the street. And in prison, I look at it and think, oh my God, I used to give them spot. There's that girl from town, well, she's dead now. And it hit me one day, I walked in there, mate. It was like a horror film. I suddenly hit me, thought, I know him, I give him spice, and smoke spice with him. And I just thought, wow, have I killed all these people on spice or something? You know what I mean? Like bringing spice to Manchester. And then all of a sudden I see people falling over on spice on the news, and it was headline news around the world that these spice heads was in Manchester, zombie drugs, yeah. Remember? And it was all in Manchester, and it was me. I was on spice at the time, 2012, 13, 14. I was smoking it, but I just didn't stand on the street with it. I used to lock myself in a house and smoke it. But I'd be giving it all my friends when I was going to buy it in the morning, you know, I'd go and give it everyone, try it, tell everyone about the new spice, what's just come out, the new brands and stuff. I feel terrible, mate. You know what I mean? That I brought it to Manchester.
I think it was inevitable though, because it was an epidemic. How cheap it was. Like at the time you had MDMA is now, but that was legal as well as meow meow.
Yeah, meow
then,
meow.
Yeah, kill a few people, then they just changed it to MCAT.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then we put it to MCAT Plus, and then you put it to...
It just kept killing people and just kept giving it a different name. It was inevitable, it was just going to take over.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But we'll circle back down there, so you're 17.
Yeah, I'm a crackhead, I'm in and out of prison. That was me on the road to prison, bro.
So,
I did a robbery at 17. What I did is, I was smoking crack in my mate. I was smoking crack in this house, and they don't touch crack. And there's a lot of lads in there who used to sit in there, and I would be this crackhead on my own, and they all used to love me, you know what I mean? That was just this debate. And I'm sat there one day, and he went, "Do you know that boy down there selling smack down under near the bridge?" And I went, "What? That kid from Middleton?" And he went, yeah. And I went, "Really? He's selling smack?" I said, "No way he's selling gear around here. Fuck that, I'm not having it." So I'm walking down the road, and I've got my machete down my sleeve, and I see this lad who's looking for money on the canal. I said, "Well, what are you up to?" He said, "I've seen him about." I said, "Do you want to do a graph with me now?" So he said, yeah, come on. So I said, "Mind all this machete for me," and I give him this machete, right? So I've knocked on the door, and this lad's on the door. I said, "What are you doing?" He's walked in. "What are you doing?" He's selling smack in here. And he had like 5 lads in the living room, and he had a phone there, and one of them had a bracelet, and there was money on the side and stuff like that. And I cleared out the money and stuff like that, and took a few bits out of the house. Took the drugs and started selling smack round here, you little prick, and walked out the back door. Unbeknown to me, the kid I was with threw my machete on the back garden. So these kids had phoned the police, and the lad who owned the house and someone else had said, "Oh, we've been robbed," and it was me, named me, right? So I get arrested. A couple of days later, arrested for robbery ×2. Like I just deny it and all that, and they give me bail. So there's an old Lidl near us, what used to be there. So about 2 weeks later, I'm stood at the shop opposite the Lidl, looking for someone. And I'm stood there anyway, and I see one of the lads walking to the lid. I kicked his legs from underneath him, put my foot to his throat, and I'm like, "What did you grasp me up for to the police, you? Why did you say I robbed you?" And then he got up and phoned the police and got me remanded into custody.
That's number 2. Remanded. I was in prison for the first time.
Oh, it was horrendous. I went into Hindley prison. I walked in a cell. There was a bed frame and a piss bucket, and that was it. Nothing else. Screws open door, went, "Go on, get on with it." And like the lads was there, and I was like, "Okay, this is you, mate." And like, "You've got to go and get a mattress off the cleaner." Gone to the cleaner, he's got like 3 mattresses on his bed, like broken. I one of the mattresses, like, you know, if you're the dickhead, you just get told to do one. You know what I mean? That's how ruthless it was, yeah. So I literally had to get a mattress off a cleaner. Luckily, the lads who was on the wing with I knew from town and that got a mattress. You had to piss in a bucket and slop out the next morning, like 2 of you in the cell. And so the windows, right, was like these frames on the window. So you got the bars, you got these frames either side, inch squares. So you used to have to poo in paper, roll it up in A4 paper or newspaper and push it out the window. That's what you had to do to have a poo. Because there was no toilet in the cell.
Yeah.
And you treated like an animal, you felt like an animal, you know what I mean? And because the windows had been so much spit and pit, people would weed out the window, you know, you just used to stand at the window and have a wee, you know what I mean? It's just normal. There was like millipedes and like these little animals, you know, like little ticks and stuff on the window. And it was like the insects had built their own little community on this stale shit around the window and stuff. And it was horrendous. And the windows was broken, you know, until you got a better pad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just mad. The screws that just leave you to it, you know, there'd been mad fights and stuff, and like, it was just crazy. It was just a madhouse, you know.
How many
like,
times did you go to prison?
I went up repeatedly, you know. Because I was a persistent offender,
Yeah.
you know, because I was a crack addict. I was in the city centre, I'd get out and literally. So my first sentence, right, it's funny. I built up all this resistance to get clean, like I'm never going to touch crack again, I'm never going to touch it, never going to touch it. The minute I got given money, discharge money, they also could think about, when they counted it to me, I thought, crack. They're counting it to me like this.
Yeah.
Like,
1 rock, 2 rock.
Yeah, that's all I thought. It's 1 rock, 2 rock. I thought, yes! I got this money burning and I couldn't wait to go like crap, you know what I mean? Went to this girl who works in a brothel, you know, got in a taxi and she'd been digging and her legs stunk. And she said, Ma, I've got something to tell you, I've been digging. And I went, what do you fucking do? Is that not what that smell is? She said, yeah, it fucking stinks. I was like, oh my God, what
do you mean digging? What's that mean?
Been injecting heroin into a leg, and then somewhere had got an infection in her leg. She had a bandage on it and it padded up and it had gone septic, so it smelled.
Yeah.
So when she was in the taxi, all excited because I've got money, she goes, look at this, and showing it me, and it stunk. I was like, what are you doing digging? I told you never ever dig, because I ended up scared of needles, thank God.
Yeah.
You know? And so she was a digger and she'd let herself go and injecting. You know, a lot of working girls inject and take heroin, and it's so sad to see them deteriorate so quickly, you know. That's the saddest thing. What I used to see, a beautiful girl come on the beat, you know what I mean, and I'd say to her, what are you doing around there? This is dangerous, you know, and they're like into the money, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The money's fast and it's quick and it's coming every 10-15 minutes. A fresh girl on the beat, all the punters would be like, oh, there's a new girl out, you know, and literally she'd be drug addict up before you knew it, and before you know it, she'd have no teeth. Her teeth would be falling out, and infections and bad nails, and losing a nail off a punter and getting battered and having bruises on her face, and before you know it, she just deteriorate, you know. It'd be so sad to see.
Yeah, like society as well, like for you to fund your drug addiction, you'd be out robbing, doing whatever you could, and women, they're going to sell themselves.
Sell themselves, that's the easy money trick for the woman, isn't it?
It shows how bad addiction must be.
It shows it,
where you're putting yourself through that.
Yeah, it must show how terribly addictive drugs are, right? That's the sad thing, innit? And there's no control of it, you know. They're buying it just off some random guy in the street. It's just horrendous.
Yeah.
You're getting locked into that game. There's no way out, you know. And I'm speechless that there's not more help for people who are struggling with drugs, you know. More understanding. There should be more understanding.
Yeah.
And there should be an open discussion about how they're going to manage drugs now. Now it's seeped into society. They're finding tons of cocaine. That is 1,000 kilos. That is 36 ounces times 1,000 at a time. So who's making that sort of money? Who wants to bring 1,000 kilos worth 35 grand each into this country? 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Who's got that capability and them means and outs to do that? You know what I mean? If they can do it, why can't the government grip it?
Yeah.
If some lad can get 1,000 kilos sent over from bleeding Dubai or wherever, why can't we get a grip on it? It's just horrendous.
Like I said earlier on, there should be a better understanding towards drug addicts. Not like, oh, he's stealing because he's a drug addict, he's a scumbag, he's low, he's this. It's like, why are they taking drugs in the first place? That should be addressed.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? The underlying issues. And perhaps if you address that, that will then stop that.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I used to roll around with a girl, right, believe it or not, and she said to me once, Marv, don't get mad at what you see in house. She took me to a house, she had a big padlock on a bedroom door. And I said, Chantel, what's that for? And she said, because my uncle comes in and messes with me when I'm asleep, pissed. So I only let him do it now for money. So she goes downstairs and dances for her dad and her uncle for money. And her uncle had already been to prison for abusing her as a kid and got out and was still living in the house with her dad.
Fucking hell.
And he used to pay her to dance. He used to pay her to dance for him. And she'd go downstairs and dance and they'd give her money. And it made me sick to my stomach. And I warned the uncle off her in the end. I said, don't you fucking ever touch her again. You know how much bad you're damaging that girl. Like, you've destroyed her life, man. No wonder she sells herself. It's because of you. He's like, leave me alone. He's not like that. Leave me alone. I'll get the police. You're fucking crazy and telling the truth, man. And that girl would just get out, get locked up for prostitution, get out and go back to the house. And I just get away, babe, Chantal, get away. And she'd say, it's the only family I've got. It's the only family I've got.
Yeah. Just like when you as a child, it was normal.
Normal. It's
now normal for her.
That's it, man.
Do you know what I mean? And she's getting paid for it and it's funding now and it's...
That's it.
Better the devil you know.
I guess,
as sad as that is, as heartbreaking as that is. So with you going to prison, what was your longest sentence?
I got under 4 years, so I never got over a 4, thank God. 4 and under. So that means my convictions can be spent now, thank God. Do you know what I mean? I've never done anything more serious, you know what I mean? like I was warned, like if I sell drugs, I got convicted for selling fake drugs when I was about 19. I got caught, I'd been in a nightclub and I'd made loads of money, but I had fake E's at the time, rhubarb and custard, fake ones. I got followed home, the police come took my door off, and me showing off, I was like, they're not real, I wasn't selling real pills, I admitted selling them. You know what I mean? Got myself in a right load of bother, and they arrested me and charged me with possession with intent to supply, ×3, because I said, yeah, I was selling fake whiz, fake weed and fake trips, ×3, but never named the drugs. It's still on my finger to this day. And I went to court, right, thinking it was a joke. This was before I went to prison, and I was about 16, 17. So I went to prison when I was 21st time ever, so I was about 17 when I got caught selling a fake drug. And my solicitor, when I got off, I got a combination order, which for probation and community service. He said to me, 99% of people would have went to prison today for what you done. The only reason you didn't go to prison is because you got a top judge and you've never been to prison before. So I was a very, very close shave that day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't realise how close it was, And then I got arrested again in the 90s, in the mid-90s. I got tumbled up in a drug operation because I was around gangbangers and gang members and drug dealers, and I was like round them, like getting them customers for money. That's what I used to do, stand with all these people, and a car would go past and the first one to get the attention of the user who wants to buy drugs. You know what I mean? I used to have regulars who'd come and wave me down, you know, because they were scared of getting robbed on the front line. And they'd see me and they'd wave me down and say, Marv, go and get me some, like 8 bags of brown. Like, I had this woman who used to work for Coronation Street, who was an addict, like a top producer. This little woman, she was coming, she used to buy 8 bags of brown at a time.
She was a go-between.
Yeah, so I used to be the go-between, you know what I mean? And she used to come and give me 20 quid to go and get 8 bags of brown, you know, give me a 1 and get an 8 bag.
Yeah.
And make a 10 after the fella who was getting the bag as well, so I made a couple of rocks off, you know what I mean? She'd come every other day, you know what I mean? People like that just come in like regular customers, you know, and I'd just be getting the drug dealers money. And what happened one day is 2 police officers have come and said, can you get me some crack? He was in a taxi. So I went, yeah, give us the 40 quid. I went in, get him a rock, broke it in half and gave it him, made 20 quid myself and passed them half each. And there was police. And that was me caught in a drug operation with 26 others. So I went to prison for intent to supply with 26 of us, and like all co-accused. And a couple of them was packing shitloads of crack, what they plugged. I remember one day one of them was remanded and he said to me, Marv, go and get me loads of food, scram, for our next court appearance, and I'll give you crack. And I was like, really? And he gave me a little piece, and I'll give you some more. And I was like, yes, bro. And I went round this wing I was on and went to everyone, give me some food. When I come back from court, I'll give you some crack. I went to about 8 people and got loads of scram off them. Like, you know, people who in a cell in prison, everyone shows off with all the food and
all lined up,
and shower gel. So I was getting literally, give me some shower, give me this, give me that. I'll give you a piece of crack when I come back. And I gave this bag of food to my mate in the bottom of the thing, and he didn't give me the crack straight away. I'll give you in a minute at court, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be dodgy, this. And I swear, bro, I didn't care about the prison. Being in court, going up for a charge, I didn't care, I just wanted me crack off this kid. That's all I was on, and I was like, bro, don't let me down, don't let me down, don't let me down, don't let me down. And I remember being in this cell at the door, like that, with my face to the door, going, yo, bro, you ready? Are you ready? And he went, I'm ready in a minute. And at the last minute, he threw it through the cell door, man, I got it. I was like, yes! Didn't care about court, I was like, forget court, I've got crack, you know?
How did you find
addicts in prison?
Crazy. I was going to say, how did you find your addictions in prison?
Hard.
Hard,
because I was a drug dealer in prison. I found it very easy to sell drugs in prison because I'm quite large and intimidating, and I've got a mouth and I know what to do, you know what I mean? Prison's very easy. I found prison very easy to acclimatise to because I was born in prison. It felt easy to me, you know? Anyone said, Marv, you know, I would say that. But I never told anyone about my past, you know, what's a weird thing. Only till I got into my 40s, I started opening up about my past. No one ever knew I was born in prison. You know, probably very, very few people knew, you know what I mean, that I was adopted and stuff like that, you know. And I'd never told anyone I'd been abused, you know. I just kept everything to myself, you know what I mean. And like, use drugs to keep it for another day, you know. It's best to be dealt with another day.
Mask it.
Yeah, to mask it, yeah. And then being a crackhead just become easy to me, you know what I mean? Second nature, you know, just going around the girls and the guys on the street and just making money and rolling with people and, you know, a punter who's a crackhead and getting money and going and taking him to the gang territory to buy crack for him, you know what I mean? And that'd be my days, I would spend my days, you know. But I wasn't happy, I started getting sad, you know what I mean? After a while, it's not fun anymore. You're just doing it just for the sake of doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Same as anything, innit? You become used to it and it becomes a chore, you know. And literally making money for crack was becoming a chore to me. I wasn't enjoying it like I used to, do you know what I mean? And I was feeling like I needed a change, you know. I got a burning desire to change, you know what I mean? And I had a girlfriend who was saying to me, look, you know, you can improve, you can get better, you can change.
Pushing for change.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Met a beautiful girl, you know what I mean? It's mad how I met her as well. Like, she was walking down the street with some guy, and this guy put his sister on the game. And I remember this guy had got his sister on the game, because I know his sister. And I seen him with this girl, and I went, what are you doing with her? You better not put her on the game. And he gone, no, I'm not going here. And I gone, you better fucking stay away from him. And that's how I met my girlfriend to this day, you know what I mean? I'm still with her to this day.
For her.
Yeah, looking out for her, you know. We got together and we're still together this day, and we've had a beautiful little 5-year-old. And it's just a dream, but I've always felt like I've been protective of women, even though, like, I got abandoned by my mum and stuff. I've always felt I've had respect for women. I've never battered a woman. I've never raised my fist to a woman, you know what I mean? It's not me. I've not done that type of thing, you know, and I've always felt like it was wrong, but maybe it's because I've never had a mum, like my birth mum let me go. But my partner says, Marv, you should be the opposite, like you should be this animal. What you've been through, you've got a reason and you've got an excuse to do anything. You could be the worst kind of person in this world and people would understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because you're not, it's just so nice that you're not, you know what I mean? It's so refreshing.
You either become a victim of your environment or you learn from it.
That's the one.
Yeah. And I suppose you've done a bit of both.
I have, yeah. I've done a bit of both, yeah. For sure, yeah. Because I used to be a hitman in prison even. Like, if the lads would say to me, look, there's wages there on someone's head, you know, I would feel no way about going in and cracking someone, which is pretty... But if I didn't do it, I know someone else would go in and hot water and sugar him. So I'd think to myself, if I go in there, I'm only going to crack him over his eyebrow to cut his eye, because I know how to bang someone to bring blood, you know what I mean? Either dead on the nose or a little eye cut. Yeah. And it'll bring a lot of blood, and that's what they demand, you know. If you're doing weight hits in prison, they demand blood to see blood. It's as simple as that. You're not getting paid. Yeah. So, you know, I'd have to show blood, do you know what I mean? And like, I think to myself, if I don't do it, next man's going to go in and sugar and hot water the kid and leave him scarred for life. So it's best that I go in and give him a little crack, do you know? And sometimes I'd be doing hits on people who I ever know, you know what I mean? I'm just like, bro, it's just necessary to get you out of big shit, you know what I mean? That happened a couple of times, you know.
What's the worst thing you've seen in prison?
I've said that the worst thing I've seen is someone that gets squashed at the door, which happened in Risley.
They are very heavy doors as well.
They are, yeah.
I saw someone's fingers come off in a door.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very, very heavy doors, yeah. We've seen someone's head get squashed in the door one Saturday in association. The guy had not paid a £10 canteen bill. Got his head squashed in the door. 2 people from Wolverhampton got convicted of manslaughter for it. They're still in prison to this day. It is one, yeah. But I will say that I have seen people slashing the wrists, and that's worse, I think.
A lot of self-harm.
Yeah.
A lot. A disturbing amount.
Self-harm. Disturbing amount. Like, I've seen people slashing the wrists, you know what I mean, and just standing there pissing blood and all sorts of stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. People who've tried to slit the throat, like, you've had mates who've got no arms nearly, you know, because they've slashed themselves that much, there's no skin left on their arms. You know what I mean? And like, you meet them and they can't read and write and stuff like that, you know what I mean? You try and learn them how to read and write and stuff, you know, things like that, you know.
I think with prisons, like that, a lot of it is like, you got the outside world and you got the inside world, like prison's its own world.
For sure,
and like
its own world.
The smallest amount of money, currency, whatever it is, double bubbling, burn back in the day, or vapes nowadays, it's a huge, serious thing.
That is serious
Like,
thing, yeah.
The fingers in the door, the one I was talking about, brew packs.
Yeah.
You know, the tea,
Yeah.
tea bags, prison issue
Prison
coffee,
winders, coffees,
yeah, the butters left outside the doors every day.
Yeah.
Some guy nicked one.
Wow.
Brew pack, do you know what I mean? You can buy your own sugar anyway and coffee as it is.
Yeah.
Put his fingers in the door, took his fingers clean off, and just over something like that.
Wow, yeah.
It's a
Brutal,
different
innit?
world completely.
Brutal, innit?
And then the levels of self-harm,
That's it.
from my experience, a lot of it is manipulation.
Yeah.
They want to say,
Yeah. Well, I used to be the one to collect canteens, and next to it, you'd see someone door banged up with covered tissue. He'd be banging on. What have you done? Next to it, screwed with me from that door.
Yeah.
What have you been doing, bullying him? He's like, what? I'm only collecting the canteen for him, the little cunt. He told everyone I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Luckily, the screws know that I'm the only canteen collector. They know I'm not getting the shot. He said I'm going to kill him. You know what I mean? And luckily, the screws not moving off the wing, because they know that he's just blagging it, you know. But some people try and put you in some deep shit, man. No, some people are ruthless, aren't they?
And people do get themselves in a lot of trouble.
That's what I mean.
And that's the worst place to get yourself in trouble, because you can only bounce wing to wing for so long.
Well, that's it. Well, I remember a kid who got to prison with a lot of money, and his mum and dad owned car showrooms, and he was giving cars away in prison, bro. Range Rovers and stuff. Cars away in
just
prison.
for a bit of protection, to be left alone.
For drugs.
Oh, okay.
Buying drugs. And he was buying like half ounces at a time. You know what I mean? Because he was a drug addict.
Yeah.
And he had so many hangers on who he had to pay to sort out. You know, like when his cell door had opened, he'd have like 10 lads in his pad, all his best mates. And you got to sort out when you get that.
I can imagine that.
And he'd pay £500 for a thing, and he'd literally give 200 quid of it away, and he'd smoke the rest overnight and then buy another one the next day. £500 a time and stuff like that, though. You know what I mean? Before you know it, he'd all $4 grand out and be like, yeah, just go and pick that car up, or go and get it dropped off now around there, and the things in the glove box, you know, hardly paperwork, and that's what they'd literally do. Drop cars off. If you've got money, you're getting big money dead, don't you?
Yeah, it is insane as well, the amount of stuff you can actually get in prison.
Yeah, insane. I remember a kid, you know, sitting to us one day, and he used to say, I've got loads of money in me granny's fireplace. He told us he's got loads of money in his granny's fireplace. Right? You know what I'm going to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
They only kidnapped his bird outside the prison. She's parked him in the car, he just grabbed her through in a car, said to her, where's his granny's house? Went to the house, took all the money, got nicked for it, but didn't give a shit, because he took all the money.
Yeah.
Fancy sitting there telling people I've got loads of money in my granny's fireplace. Literally said, oh yeah, the police didn't catch on with money, it's in my granny's fireplace. Everyone went, what?
Yeah.
Really?
No friends in prison.
No friends in prison, mate. No prisoners in there, bro. People just snatched his bird from outside and took her, you know what I mean? Just threatened her, and she took him to his nana's house. He just went in and ripped it all down and took her every penny.
When was your last sentence?
A long time, 2012. I've not been back to prison.
Okay, so prisons was changing then, though.
It was changing. It was coming to Spice, Dusty prisons. Changed forever.
Yeah.
Spice was brand new. One lad had it on the wing, a ball of it, and he gave me a piece of it. And I was in a cell with a scouser who used to cut parcels on his visit. And it was only that scouser who saved me, you know, because he said to me, "Led," he went, "Marv, led," he went, "Don't be smoking all that ball at one, lad. You've seen what's happening to all these people in these cells. You know, put a tiny amount in and see what it does to you first." And he saved my bacon because I put a tiny amount in, smoked it, and I got this feeling like, wow. If I'd have put loads in that, it would have sent me over. You know what I mean? It was literally that strong. And it lasted me this ball for a couple of weeks, you know what I mean? I was serving up and grafting with people. I had this ball for myself.
Yeah.
And every time I got behind my door and I had a little one pop, smoking it, I loved it. It was like, this is great, you know what I mean? This escape. You'd smoke and just lie back on your bed. You just all these tingles up your arms. That's what I mean, the homeless, it's perfect for being homeless, for the street. Sad.
Did you cope in prison all right, would you say?
Yeah, I coped great in prison, yeah. I managed. On to the outside world, I managed. Inside, I didn't. Lying on my bunk bed on my own in the night time, it used to hurt me, bro. What me out? You know what I mean? I'd do anything. I'd lose a finger. I used to say to me though, if someone would come now and say, "I'm going to take your finger and let you out," I'd let them take my finger. That's how bad I'd want to get out.
Yeah. But just to go back again?
Just to go back to the same. Just to go and buy the bits and bobs and yeah, that's it. No reason.
So meeting your missus, her encouragement, and you having enough of the game.
But also my adoptive, having my adoption file, working with after adoption was very important to me as well. And what happened was, while I was in prison, I was working with this woman who got my adoption file opened, and this woman kind of crossed the lines with me. Because what happened was, I got out of prison, she bought me loads of clothes, bought me a full-face balaclava and jacket, gloves and all that, pure grafting clothes. It was winter, and then like, do you want some money? Yeah, you can have some money. And then said to me, I've got an idea. I need my house decorated. Do you want to come into mine and stripping the walls for me? And this was a woman who worked in the prisons. She was a prison, she had keys, you know what I mean? She wasn't a prison officer, but she worked in the prison. And she was like, she said to me one day, I've got the power to get people released or stay in from mental, because she had a couple of different jobs. You know, like she had a part-time job in the prison, she worked in a mental institution,
Yeah.
And she used to tell me the power she had, you know what I mean? She had all these initials after her name. What happened was, she gave me £100 a day to strip the walls of her house. She had a schoolboy son upstairs. Next minute, I'm taking my top off, stripping the walls, and I can see her sat there watching me. And I'm just thinking, she's just chit-chatting. And one day, I'm smoking cannabis. Little did I know, she fancied me. She sat next to me, screwed up next to me, took the joint, had a couple of drags of it, and I thought, she wants something. And I realised, I thought, she fancies me. She wants how close she's just sat next to me. So I went, I've got to go back. I've got to get back to my niece's house. And I went back to my niece's. And then I went back again, but I took my niece's boyfriend, who sadly killed himself in prison a couple of years ago. I took him with me. She went, what are you doing bringing people to my house? I went, he's just going to help me strip with me, you know, you don't have to give him no more money, I'll give him some of the money off my money type thing. She went in her office, a front room, she had 2 rooms in her house, the front room was her office. She went in her office, slammed the door, and never said another word to me. And then the next time I went, I've gone upstairs on my own. She followed me up the stairs and she threw the lips on me big time, like necking, like this, got slop it, like her tongue and everything. But I just froze. I didn't respond with my mouth. And just like, I'd already met Kira by then. Kira was on my phone literally all the time, and she knew that was going on. That I was going to this woman's house, and she was giving me £100 a day. And when this woman threw it on me, like, and I told him, she was like, "Stay away from her now. You can't go back there." And anyway, this woman wrote a report and got me recalled back to prison because she was on my license, so she could get me recalled. So she said, he's not working with me, he's not been coming to see me, and they got me sent back to prison for 9 months. So I got recalled to prison, and Kira waited for me. I told her to go, you know, and meet someone else, but she waited for me.
That
so
speaks volumes.
Speaks volumes, yeah. So we've been together ever since, thankfully.
And how was getting clean?
Wow, it was very, very tough. I used to go to Narcotics Anonymous and smoke crack in the toilets. That's how bad I was. You know, I'd get a little break from Kira. She'd let me go to NA because she'd been locking me in the house and stuff. Like, you can get clean now. Because I started getting clean on a Sunday. I'd think to myself, I'm getting clean on a Sunday and stuff. So I knew I could do it. So when I got this little sentence and got out, I just never touched it again. There was no relapsing, nothing. I just never, ever stopped.
Just focused.
I focused and stopped it, yeah. But I did have the spice to take my mind off the crack addiction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was using that then, so it was just, the crack had become a small, distant thing, you know. I managed to just get it out of my system. Yeah.
And then I was getting off the spice.
Getting off the spice, wow. So I did a documentary with these documentaries about spice, so it is somewhere in the system, somewhere in the ethos. I did a report from prison on Granada reports on a local news channel about getting clean, like headline news of me on the TV, on the news, because I was going to drug teams and all that, and I was trying to get clean and whatnot. And the spice became a big problem, mate, honest to God, because I was smoking the spice morning till night, and it was horrendous. It was horrendous. I was a bad addict on the spice. Couldn't get off it, just bad addict. And then in the end, one day, I'm watching the TV all the time. I'm watching what it's doing to Manchester City Centre, and I'm watching all of my friends falling over and dropping dead. And I thought, I've got to get off this stuff. And I've got like about 4 bags of spice in the house, and one Saturday morning, and I've opened them all, high on spice. poured it all in a bucket of water and threw it out the kitchen window. Phoned Kieran and said, I'm not touching spice again. And she went, oh yeah, I've heard that all before. And I never touched spice again. I stopped it and never touched it again. And that was my journey on the spice. But it's the after effects to this day, I still get them. I wake up with anxiety attacks, like burning up, boiling hot off the spice. I've never ever had it before since the spice. It's never gone away.
Because that spice, the synthetic cannabis,
Yeah.
what's that actually made out of? What's in there?
It's made out of rat poison, I believe.
Yeah.
It's rat poison with it's rent-a-kill rat poison with this stuff what grows called marshmallow. Like it's this weed what grows, and they just let it dry out, and it dries and what's smokable called marshmallow, and they add to it the rat poison.
It's insane to think like you're consuming a hell of a lot of that because it's dirt cheap and
Smoking rat poison.
what that's doing to you, not only physically, mentally.
Oh no, it was playing with my brain. Believe me, it was sending me off my cake. You know what I mean? It really was sending me off my cake. I thought I was going to die off it. That's why I stopped it. I looked at myself one day. I was skinny, red, skin as bone. I used to fall asleep mid-conversation with people. You know what I mean? I couldn't keep my eyes open. And I just thought, I'm going to die here. And I got so proud of getting off the crack. I was so proud of myself for getting off the crack. And I sat there one day and thought, I'm just on being spice head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got off
Yeah.
the crack, I'm just on spice. I was the spice head. I thought, I've got to get off this shit. And I did. Thank God I got off it.
And the spice was harder to get off.
It was, it felt harder, yeah. It was more the after effects, it was horrendous. You know what I mean?
Did you ever relapse on it?
Nah, never, ever.
No.
Never. The thing with me, I've never done that, you know, like when I've stopped things, I've never gone back to them type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I stopped the butane, I never went back to it. When I stopped the glue and I stopped the bleeding Tipex, and when I stopped the fluid solvents and whatever else pouring onto your bleeding arms of your coat and sucking on it, you know what I mean? And all sorts of mad shit I've done.
In the height of your addictions, did you ever think, like even when you're in prison at night, looking at the ceiling, did you ever think you'd be sat here today with your own book in front of you, clean, sober?
No. I mean, my adoptive sister, who died tragically 2 years ago off an overdose of tramadol and gin, she always said to me, Marv, you're not going to live till you're 30, you're going to be dead. She always told me I'd be dead by 30. And I believed her. I really did. I believed her. But, you know, I'm here now, 50 odd. 51, you know what I mean? I can't believe I made it to 50, you know. That was a very big... I never thought I'd beat my mum's age of 49. I was always worried that I'd be dead before 49.
Yeah.
So when I made 49, that was a very big turning point for me.
How does that make you feel that you've beat the odds?
It's big. It's big that I beat my mum's odds. Because I never thought I'd beat my mum's odds, you know what I mean?
Not even your mum's, your own circumstances.
Yeah, it's big, man. Yeah, it's big. I've been through a lot, you know what I mean? Like I've got fake teeth and I've got nothing, man. You know what I mean? It's all the show, man. You know what I mean? It's affected me. I got shot in 1996 in my right leg. It's caused lots of complications. I thought it didn't do that. It froze, paralysed my toes. And because of that, it's overcompensated on the left side, so it's damaged my spine and stuff.
Yeah.
30 years later, you know what I mean?
Their life's catching up, yeah.
It's caught up with me, yeah. For sure. So, you know, you think when you're younger, you get injured and you think, you just brush it off, it catches up when you get a bit older, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So be aware.
What do you think, looking back now, was your lowest point? What was rock bottom for you?
I think rock bottom for me was being an addict. I think being on crack I was disappointed in myself that. No, I don't say that. I think rock bottom for me was crying in bushes to my girlfriend. I think that was where the point turned, because I can remember going in these bushes near Hardwick Lads Club and standing in the bushes smoking crack, crying, wanting it to go, sick of it. You know what I mean? I've got a big piece of crack and I'm sat in these bushes with a crack pipe and putting these big pieces of crack on. I'm not even smoking it right and tears are streaming down my face. I'm just thinking, enough, man, I've got to just stop this shit. What am I doing? Stuck in these bushes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 200 quid of crack. I just phoned my dad and was just so upset. And she just said, just come home, just fucking finish it and come home. You know what I mean?
And day one?
Yeah, I just was getting sick of it, bro. Sick of it, you know what I mean? Crack cocaine was enough.
Yeah.
And I'd tell everyone, I'd warn everyone, stay clear of cocaine. Don't even try it once, because you'll try it once, it'll get in your head. You know, it's like a worm. It'll get into your brain. You'll think about it, and it'll become a problem. You know, if you're not strong, you'll take it, and you'll become a problem all your life. Just stay away from drugs. You know what I mean? Just don't take them powders and stuff. They're illegal for a reason. They are. They're illegal for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, you found out when you was of age, when you tried to find out about your mum, that she had passed away. So you never had that contact with her.
Sadly, now I got a death certificate instead of any. I'm thinking, I'm going to find my birth family, and I made my birth mum, and I got a death certificate. And what I did is I fell into deep depression for a few months. But I phoned up the adoption agency and said, I can't be the end of my story, that my mum's dead, there's got to be more to it. And they went away and said, we've had a meeting about you, and we're going to carry on running your case because we've found your birth family, your birth mum's family. Yeah. They'd found a member of my mum's family. So thankfully I got to meet my aunties and uncles and stuff, and my cousins.
And hear some first person stories.
Yeah, got photos of my mum.
Yeah.
Got loads of photos of my mum and loads of stories of her, you know what I mean?
How does it make you feel though, from you being born in prison because she was a addict and shoplifting and all that, and then finding out to when she died that she was still in that circle the whole time?
It's quite sad, isn't it? You know what though, she had a struggle with drugs all her life, you know what I mean? You can see it in her face, and you can see when she got ill, you know what I mean? But when she was younger, she was a beautiful woman, you know what I mean? And just
drugs take over.
Just sad, innit? Yeah. Just a sad fact.
Feel sorry for her?
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I feel sorry for my mum, yeah, for sure. Very sad situation she found herself in, you know. And I think I take it quite well in my book. I think I describe it quite well in my book. You know, how it felt that day, you know, and losing her and everything else, you know what I mean? I think it's very well described, and I think people will appreciate it, you know what I mean, when they get the book, because it's quite in-depth and very eloquently written, you know what I mean, and it took a lot to write it, you know what I mean? It took a lot, and it was horrendous writing it, you know. I was sending it to this girl called Vicky, and like, at first I was just sending her so much information, so many stories. She's kind of like, slow down, you're sending me too much, you know what I mean?
Here, there, everywhere.
Yeah, it was middle of the night stuff and stuff like that. Chapters at mad o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? Like, I'd have been writing it, I'd write a chapter from like 11 at night, and I'd finish it at 6 in the morning, and I'd send it straight away. She'd go, don't send me shit at 6 in the fucking morning. You know what I mean? You know, like, yeah, man, we worked it out and we got it nailed in the end. Like I say, I've done 30 chapters. I've wrote another one, it's nearly finished, but I'm just working out the start, you know what I mean? Because it's, my dad's story's unfinished yet, and I just don't know how I'm going to write my dad's story, you know what I mean? Because it's unfinished.
Yeah.
You know? Ongoing type thing, you know, so. But yeah, sadly, I've lost a few people recently, you know. I lost my best mate recently, you know what I mean? He tragically just died suddenly, you know what I mean? It was a hell of a shock. You know, I never expected him to pass away like that, and that left me very, very shocked, and, you know, kind of hit me a lot, you know, my mate going, you know what I mean, my best mate, because we've been through a hell of a lot in life, so to lose him hit me a lot. So now I'm just trying to raise my son now as best I can.
Do you ever feel, why are you still alive?
Yeah, for sure. There's got to be a reason I'm here. There's got to be a reason I'm here, and I believe it's to educate people on sexual offences and being abused and stuff. I really believe, like, I'm going to start an organisation called Don't Turn a Blind Eye, and you're going to hear about it soon. And what that is that's to encourage people and to encourage people to report sex offenders and sex offences and being abused and stuff like that, because it is crossing a line, and like you said, it is your private parts, and people shouldn't touch your privates. And when they do, you do need to report. It's not grassing, it's not snitching, it's not informing, it's you doing the right thing, because if you don't tell someone, it will happen to somebody else. That person will go on to abuse more people, and that's what you've got to know, you know what I mean? If you don't report them and put a stop to it, they're going to hurt more people, and then how are you going to feel that you can put a stop to it?
You have to be the one to end the trauma.
Yeah, you have to be the one, and it's not grassing, it's not snitching, because they make prisons, they build prisons for sex offenders now, you know what I mean? Like you were saying to me, that Stafford prison is now a sex offender prison. You know, when I was younger, it used to be a punishment prison for like the Northwest, all the lads would be in there, you know, but now it's for sex offenders. So yeah, they build prisons for sex offenders, like, they're not the same people as us, they don't think the same as us, they're very manipulative, you know what I mean? They'll say it's grassing, and they'll say it's snitching, and they'll intimidate you and make you believe that you're doing wrong by reporting them, and you're not doing wrong.
No.
You're doing the right thing to report them, because what I say is, you shouldn't hold that trauma in you. If you've been abused, you should let it out, you should scream it from a rooftop. Don't feel like you should be guilty, because that's the wrong way to think. That's what I did, and I now know that that was the wrong way to think. What you should think is, nah, I'm going to tell someone, I'm not going to keep it in. Why should I keep it in and let that person go on and do it to somebody else? Or even now be doing it to somebody else because I've not told the authorities, or told my parents, or told someone in who I can trust, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give it someone who you can trust. Just trust me. Give it someone you can trust, and they will work on it for you. You know what I mean?
Of course. I hope it does take off. There's a lot of stigma around it.
Yes, yes. And I think don't turn a blind eye is the right saying is, don't turn a blind eye. You know, don't turn away from it. You know what I mean? If you know someone who's being hurt or abused or going through something, you help them yourself. Don't just sit back and let it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The turning point for me, and I'll tell you the truth, was I'm coming out the Arndale Centre where I used to go with my adoptive mum, and I watched some lad snatch an handbag off some woman and literally try and run past me with it. I grabbed him and just went, "What are you doing, lad? You can't fucking snatch handbags here. There's hundreds of people here watching you. A row of taxis. You can't just snatch an handbag here. Fucking give it the woman back."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was insane. Everyone was just there watching this guy snatching in slow-mo. She screamed and everyone turned and looked. This lad stood there on the tram tracks with a handbag. Like, didn't know which way to run. You know what I mean? I went to run to pure members of the public, and I just ran and grabbed him and went, "What are you doing?" And you know, if I thought of my mum, I swear it just made me think, if that was my mum and he'd grabbed my mum's handbag, I'd have wanted someone to stop him.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
But then that's your mindset changing and maturing.
Yeah, I've got to be
You know
honest.
what I mean? Yeah.
It's disgusting. It was hanging what I seen. You know what I mean? It was horrible. Just wrong in so many levels. Me and my partner stood there, and the guy just snatched the handbag. So disrespectful. You know what I mean? Nah, I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. I made him give it back.
So now, the last question I'd like to finish on, and maybe even have a little think about it before you answer it. Looking back now, so you can go back in time and talk to a 13, 14-year-old you.
Yeah.
What would you say to yourself?
Tell someone.
Yeah.
Tell someone what's happening to your mum. Tell someone. Just put your trust into someone, you know what I mean? Like, I used to see my head teacher in his Schematar car, sports car, outside the classroom, and I always used to think, wonder if I told my head teacher what he'd do. Like, would he, like my primary school, I burgled my primary school because he used to give me the strap, big leather strap, would you on my arm, 25 of them 20 big leather straps on my arm. I ended up breaking into her office, getting a marker pen, writing all over her office. I had a silent alarm on it, the police come straight out and arrested me, but I was too young to be charged. So I was thinking to when I was in secondary school and I'd seen my head teacher, I was thinking, should I tell him? And I just didn't have the heart to, and I wish I would have told someone in authority.
Do you think if you'd have spoke up, that would have changed your path?
I think people would have put more into me, yeah, because they could have realised then what was going on, you know what I mean? Like I was like just a lost kid who'd just been taken advantage of and had no way to turn, you know what I mean?
Because if you spoke up at the time, people would have been aware, you'd have been supported.
Would there have been no, there's no such thing as it happening at the time. He could have just denied it and said, don't know what you're talking about, he's fucking lying. And what would I book me then?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I always thought. Because why is the caretaker not saying no? I used to see him on his own and go down and lift with him and just not say no to me.
Yeah.
Big curly head. And I'd see him going out on a Friday night to get the birds, you know, in his smart suit and aftershave. And I'd think, why are you? You're a bird, man. You're a girl, man. Why are you not helping me? You know what I mean? And he just wouldn't.
I think a lot of that is it's somebody else's problem. Somebody else will say something, somebody else will say something, and everyone has that mindset, and nobody actually does. He was the caretaker though,
bro. He was the caretaker.
100%. He should have. Oh, he should have said that's not right.
If anyone should have said something, it was the caretaker.
Of course, yeah.
And he lived opposite him. You know what I mean?
And he'd have known.
Oh, he knew. Oh, he knew, and he knew the guy first name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I just always wonder about that caretaker, Jeff. Why didn't he tell anyone? And he was a right ladies man, and everyone knew him as well, you know. And he told no one. He just let it happen to all those kids. Strange.
Or it's something he has to live with.
Yeah, he'll still be alive. Yeah, it's something he has to live with. He'd probably sit there thinking, I remember that John as a pedo. Yeah, and I used to just let him just have all them kids in the house and never to say a word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So tell us about your book. Where can people buy your book?
All my books on Amazon. It's on Apple. It's on Audible. It's on Kindle. It's on hardback and it's on paperback. But if you just write Born in Prison by LMH or Born in Prison book, it comes up. It's got amazing reviews. It's a heavy read, yeah, but it's open and honest and it'll blow your mind and it may change your life because it's changed a few people's lives and it's helped people change. Because if I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'd urge people to buy it and support me, you know what I mean? Because it is an outstanding read and the reviews on it are outstanding. It's getting close to 4.8 out of 5 on Amazon, you know, and that's mind-blowing.
It is.
But just be prepared for what it is, you know what I mean? It's an autobiography about my life story, and my life story is quite haunting, you know what I mean? And there's no airs and graces in it. I don't dress anything up, you know what I mean? I just tell it how it is. But the redemption is the best part, the change is the best part.
Yeah. But mate, honestly, massive respect for the courage you have. Because I speak about this a lot, like people, for example, look at me, they're covered in the tattoos, do you know what I mean? And people think automatically there's nothing wrong with you. Do you know what I mean? And like you're taller than me, you're what, 6'3", 6'4"?
6'3",
do you know what I mean? A lot of jewellery, you carry yourself well, very confident.
I wear the jewellery now because I used to be a crack addict and I know I could take one of these off for 100 rocks. That's why I wear it, to just know that I'm not that crack addict anymore. Yeah. That's the only reason I wear it.
But you know what I mean, you walk into a room, you're very demanding, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Domineering.
Yeah.
And then for you to open up about what you've been through, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of bottle.
Yeah, thank you. I did a talk to a group of probation officers the other day and my head nearly fell off, you know. I seen them all coming on live on the screen and I looked, I couldn't speak, I went, my name is... I went like that. It's really hard, you know, sometimes to get it out there.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a tough story, bro, but thankfully I've learned how to compartmentalise it so I can open it up, bring it out and put it away for another day.
You've dealt with it, so now it's in a box.
I can open it and close it, you know what I mean? But that's only through since I told people about being abused, it's opened up for me. I feel so much better. I haven't got this burning desire and this secret of somebody else's.
Yeah.
Somebody abusing me, I've got to keep the secret. I was abused. Why should I have to keep the secret? It's not fair. So I urge people who've been abused or anything's happened to them, report it and get it off your chest and watch what happens.
Because it's not your fault.
It's not
you're
your
a victim.
fault. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a victim. It's not your fault.
And watch what happens if you do report it. You know, it'll change. Things will get better for you. You know what I mean?
What would you say to anyone struggling with addiction?
I'd say to them, take every day as it comes, and I'll tell you this as well. You don't need a guru, you don't need a master to tell you that you can do it yourself. Don't kid yourself. You don't need no drug team worker to tell you to get clean. You know that you've got the keys and the tools and the things to do it yourself. You've got the armoury, you've got the toolbox. So when people say to me, what would you give someone? I'd say, get off your ass and get clean. Stop taking the drugs. Think of it as this tiny little chemical. This is what nails it for me. Think of this tiny little chemical that you want to take that changes another chemical in your brain, and you're willing to destroy your whole family to just change that little chemical in your brain. It's really worth it for that little bit of a chemical. Just sort your head out and get off it.
Accountability.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
Get off it. Stop being silly. You know you can do it. I was addicted to crack for 20 straight years. I loved crack. I thought I would die a crackhead. You know, when I stopped it, it was the best thing that ever happened. So pleased to stopped it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll never go near it again now. It's the most ugliest thing to me. Cocaine and crack, they just don't bother me in the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
So far away removed from it, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. You can do it yourself. You've got the tools, you've got the keys, you've got the means, you can unlock yourself to stop it today. All you've got to do is tell yourself enough is enough, and it'll be enough.
Yeah, go want that change.
Yeah, get rid of the drug dealer's number, delete it out your phone so you can't get it again, delete the messages, reset your phone, get your numbers added back up and start again. Just cut the drug dealer out, you don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Very true. Right, anything to finish on, mate?
I'd just say to people, thank you very much, and I appreciate your podcast and you blowing up. Get the book now, order it now.
I appreciate you for coming on, my mate, I really do.
Thank you very much.
And honestly, I'm going to say it again, thank you for opening up, because it takes a lot.
It does, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that, man, it's been great.
Thank you for listening to From Rock Bottom. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, like and share. It really helps us keep doing this work and bringing these stories to light. You can also follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and ways to get involved in the conversation. Most importantly, if you're struggling right now, please don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, seek support. You are not alone, and you are absolutely worth life. Take care, keep fighting, and we'll see you in the next episode.